long without pitching and towing it up in a game, and that's going to be the challenge for Burns today, is to really keep that adrenaline rush under control and really establishing himself into the strike zone early on in this game.
He started opening day last year. It was a difficult opener. He didn't even get through an inning, was injured in that game, shut down for the season, and it really started what was a frustrating campaign for Texas Tech. They were swept at a really good North Carolina team, never really got their footing and just couldn't find the momentum. Only ended up with 20 wins on the season.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic of the Red Raiders, but they are back, and that rebuilt pitching staff will make a difference.
Here is the defense behind Jackson Burns for Texas Tech. Robin Villeneuve at first base. He is a key piece coming back for a Red Raider team that won just the 20 games a season ago. Really good speed in center field. Kyler Thompson, someone to watch out for in this mammoth-like big league ballpark. Thompson, a perfect 29 of 29 on stolen bases last year. He can cover a ton of ground out there in center for Tech. So the wait's just about over, especially for Texas Tech. Man, that wait had to feel like 5 years as opposed to 5 months when you go through a struggle that they did in 2025. But it's just about done, and we're ready to go. 2026 underway. Yeah, there's no doubt. And Tim Tadlock said, you know, he's really excited about this team and see some good signs early on with a team that is coming together. Of course, a number of new faces in the lineup that we'll see. A couple of veterans from the Texas Tech Red Raider lineup. But it was an unfortunate year for them, very uncharacteristic, as I said, and you know, every year is different. And I think last year, as you said, Ben, the start of last year was such a struggle, and then losing a couple of arms early on really just compounded the issues for the Red Raiders. That's all in the past now. 2026 is here. And some big cheers, Oklahoma, Texas Tech fans filing in. First of 3 games today, 9 this opening weekend, part of the Shriners Children's College Showdown, as Jason Walk set to get us started. John Brammer calling the balls and strikes behind home plate today. Veteran crew with Greg Harmon at first, Chris Koski at second, Blake Felix at third. And here we go. Opening day officially underway with a cutter that has been a big part of Jackson Burns' work in the offseason, finds the outside edge. So it's Jason Walk to start things off for Oklahoma. Takes a fastball just up and in. Called strike, that's in there, and there's a slider from Burns. Fascinating to watch how Walk will be a key piece, top of the lineup. You could argue the most dynamic player in this lineup when you talk to a lot of the coaches around the program. He takes a called strike 3, painting the black. Now, great start for Jackson Burns, and you saw him locate the cutters early on. The breaking pitches for the first couple of strikes, went up in the zone with the fastball. That time catches the outside corner with it, freezes Walk. Walk doesn't get the bat off his shoulder, and that is a great start for Burns. As we talked about, coming off of a year where he didn't pitch, that's always going to be the question mark coming in. How does he handle the big moment? And he just did. Just misses inside to Camden Johnson. And for Burns, this was a guy, huge recruit out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Somebody you were very familiar with, Pat, living here, and the fact he was a top 20 recruit in the whole state, that's always such a big marker as a prep prospect. Here he gets a wave and a miss going off speed on the curve. And again, establishing the off-speed pitches early in the game. What a key thing to do for any pitcher, but especially for Jackson Burns. Doing a great job. Again, pitching backwards against Johnson. Missed with that fastball in, comes back with the breaking ball for a strike. Punch to the left side. There's Coleman Ryan. 6-3 on the plate. As Camden Johnson is retired, couldn't ask for a better start from Jackson Burns to get himself settled down. Obviously, the nerves is always the issue, right? You've got this adrenaline built up. You've been thinking about this. I promise you, his mind, he's been thinking about this start for a year. You know, rehabbing and getting back to this the ability for him to toe it up and throw it. There's just so many mental things going on for a pitcher
like Burns has had to battle through, and he has done a great job settling into this game early.
Now faces Deaton LaChance. Big hack. It's a one-hopper. Handled nicely by Lincoln Garcia. High throw handled by Robin Villeneuve over there at first. 1-2-3 start for Jackson Burns as we're underway. Texas Tech coming to bat for the first time next. A 1-2-3 top of the first for Tim Tadlock's Texas Tech Red Raiders. Now his team coming to bat. Starting lineup brought to you by Shriners Children's, the best care anywhere. They get a speedster at the top of the order. Kyler Thompson, a perfect 29-29 on stolen bases last year. The big bopper batting cleanup, Logan Hughes, first team all Big 12 in 2025 and a top 70 MLB draft prospect for this 2026 draft. They also have a nice piece in a Big 12 all preseason man, Robin Villeneuve, down in the 8-hole. They'll face off against Cameron Johnson, part of an Oklahoma pitching staff completely retooled from last year. Kind of amazing, Pat. Third time in the last 6 years Oklahoma's had to replace all 3 weekend starters, but they have so many good arms there in Norman, and Cam Johnson one of them.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's very typical for a Skip Johnson team. About every other year, he has to rebuild that entire starting rotation. But yeah, lost some great talent last year, but certainly Cam Johnson looking to get off to a great start here, and he earned it in the fall.
You can see based on the numbers, control will be the big piece for Johnson coming back in 2026. He starts off by facing Kyler Thompson, 6'6" lefty. Couple of 6'6" starters here as his fastball. This is just outside, and he starts things off with a 94-mile-an-hour heater.
And Johnson just has that workhorse type build, and Skip Johnson really believes he could be the premier Friday night starter for OU. Put together a tremendous fall and an early spring, and Skip said there's no doubt he has earned this opening day start. And he's got a fastball. It can crank. It can get up to the upper 90s, and he can absolutely dominate with a slider changeup mix.
Big wave and a miss, pulls the string early, and Kyler Thompson way out in front on the change. Just underway, opening game of the Shriners Children's College Showdown. Changeup down in the dirt.
Yeah, Skip made a comment on our call with him, and he said, you always look for that competitiveness to come out in players, and certainly Cam Johnson showed it well in the Fall World Series. He said we gave up a triple. Ball should have been caught in center field, and he was sitting about 91, 92 during the early part of that game, and man on third base, guy gets a triple out of it. He said all of a sudden we look at the gun, he's throwing 97, 98. It's like he just had it in his mind that he is not going to score from third base, and that's the type of talent and arm that Cam Johnson brings.
He was up to 95 on that last pitch. It's fouled off. Wave and a miss. He goes back to the changeup. And Thompson is down on strikes. Here's a look at how the Oklahoma defense lines up behind Cameron Johnson. OU with 5 returners back from last year's NCAA regional team. Jason Walk anchors the outfield. Jackson Willits back for a 3rd year starting at shortstop with Deaton LaChance brought in. That's a big question as well, Pat, for Oklahoma. They have to replace Easton Carmichael, one of the best catchers in the SEC last year, a 3rd-round draft pick by Pittsburgh. That one's pumped in there for a strike, but they really like what they have in LaChance.
Yeah, no doubt. He is a tremendous replacement, and really hard to find catchers of his caliber and talent that could just step right in and earn his way into a lineup, but that's exactly what LaChance has done. He's a Canada native, and he has taken over and filling some big shoes in Easton Carmichael, and of course Scott Mulder, the backup, who's now since joined the OU coaching staff. But Skip Johnson said we are not losing a beat behind the plate with LaChance.
Tracer Lopez watching his slider low and outside. 2-1 count on Lopez.
Yeah, Tracer Lopez, one of those players that's really improved offensively. Got his average up to near 300 last season. He's added some pop, just gotten physically bigger. Remember seeing him start as a freshman for Texas Tech up the middle, and just looks like a different ball player today.
The 2-2 taken for a called strike 3. Might not be 97, 98, Pat, but Cam Johnson has come out firing, sitting 94 on that fastball.
Yeah, I think Lopez thought that pitch was down, and Cam Johnson gets the benefit of the call. Good frame job there by LaChance. Got underneath that pitch and just lifted it up ever so slightly, and John Brammer signals the called third strike.
Both pitchers coming out firing on opening day. Connor Schaus digging in next for Texas Tech. And a big wave and a miss. And we watched Texas Tech here 2 years ago at Globe Life, Shriners Children's College Showdown, and they came out of that tournament looking really impressive to the point where you thought probably a dark horse to come out of the Big 12, maybe make a run at Omaha. Wave and a miss here, but pitching let him down, and that was the story in 2025.
Yeah, a couple of good fastballs there from Johnson. You see that good movement down and away. A two-seam fastball running away from right-handers and just missed downstairs with that pitch.
Goes back to it on 0-2.
Connor Schaus, a player that Tim Tadlock's really excited about. The Georgia Tech transfer, very versatile, can play multiple positions.
Here he skewers one into foul territory on the right side. It's grabbed by Dayton Taki over there for the foul out. Both pitchers off to great starts. 1, 2, 3 as we head to the second. We head to the second inning. 0-0 between Oklahoma and Texas Tech. In time for our first coach interview of the weekend. So pleased to be joined by the ninth-year head man, Skip Johnson, down in the OU dugout. Skip, great to see you as always. Thanks for doing this. I remember a couple years ago we had you guys, and this man at the plate right now, Jackson Willits, was set to make his debut. Here he punches one into left. That's a one pitch out. But as far as Jackson in general, now he's here in the cleanup spot for you. What's the development been like now as you go from year 2 to year 3 for him?
I think it's just more of his leadership. I mean, he's played since he's been here as a freshman, and his leadership to help our culture, and because we got a lot of new guys, as everybody knows.
Hey, Skip, Pat Combs here, man. Great to have you back at Globe Life. And I'm looking down at the sheet. I'm going, 9 years already at OU. Remember, we were doing games back when you were at Texas. But, Skip, thinking about this team this year, what are you most excited about with this Sooner lineup?
It's kind of funny. You know, it's as a coach, we always want these guys to love each other and everything. They like to practice, and they like to be with each other at the field. And that's what, I mean, you can't ask anymore. That's what about attitude, you know, and attitude's all about, you know, having a good baseball team. We'll see how they play.
No doubt, Skip.
There we go.
Well, he just catches Nolan Stevens. There's a hit by pitch.
Yeah, you got your first base runner there, Skip. But, you know, Skip, you're always known as one of the premier pitching coaches in college baseball. I love your 4-bucket approach to pitching. You talk about maintenance and repeatable delivery, just the mental game, the game management. But speak about your starting pitcher today. It looks like he's put together those 4 buckets for you.
Well, I mean, he's really worked hard at it. And good. And listen, good pitchers make good pitching coaches. Don't get us wrong. I mean, we just try to put a structured environment together for them and see if they can continue to learn.
When I think about the roster composition, you guys have a ton of transfers coming in. You've kind of zagged a little bit where the rest of the SEC has been zigging. What's been the approach just to try to get the cohesion right, getting everybody all sorted and together as a team here as we get to opening day?
Well, number one, they've got to fit our culture, and number two is they got to fit what we need. And we went out and looked for some guys with some more power, and we did that. Coach Butler did a great job. He's our recruiting coordinator. And so that's really what it's about, is trying to get they fit our culture, number one, and then get the need, what we need.
That's exciting to watch here in 26. Skip, always appreciate you doing this. Appreciate it.
I thank you guys. Thanks for the help, and appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Great to have Oklahoma back in this Shriners Children's College Showdown. Curveball just inside on 1-1 to Brendan Brock. 27th all-time game Oklahoma is playing here at Globe Life Field, 3rd most. And just inside, count runs to 3-1. They did have their hands full of trying to move to the SEC. That was just a minor scheduling thing last year, Pat. So they weren't here at Globe Life, but great to be back. Actually, last time they were here was the Big 12 tournament title game when they lost to Oklahoma State in 2024.
Yeah, as any team you imagine would, going into the conference like the SEC. But boy, what a great representation from the former Big 12 members. OU and Texas making the move and both performing really well last year. OU, of course, getting to the NCAA regionals in their first year in the SEC.
And they bring in 18 total transfers this year. Runner goes on 3-2. Curveball outside. And after the hit by pitch to Nolan Stevens, it is a 1-out walk to Brendan Brock.
Yeah, a couple of free bases from the arm of Jackson Burns, and he really coasted through those first 4 Sooner hitters. And then Nick Stevens with the pitch, and now the full count walk to Brock, and now finds himself for the first time in trouble today. But see how he handles the pressure. First time he's been in a situation like this, as you mentioned, Ben, in over a year.
Trey Gamble, little excuse me check swing. They force Burns to come off the mound. Does well to field his position with the bare hand. And it's runners on second and third with 2 down.
Yeah, dangerous kind of play there with the pitcher coming in towards third base, and that ball's still rolling, but he chooses the bare-handed, just shows off that athleticism. Bounced off the mound really quickly to get to that ball and retire Gamble, but nice play there by Jackson Burns to get to it and make a strong throw to first base.
And with Dayton Taki coming up, it's a second and third 2-out situation. First pitch, fastball in there for a strike. It's always the first, right, when you're coming off that long layoff, right? First, first whatever it is, hit by pitch,
That's
walk.
right.
And then it always seems to go up a notch when it's first, oh boy, I got to hop off the mound and make a play here. Gets your blood pressure rising just a touch.
A little adrenaline rush.
Yeah, Burns handled that beautifully as the 0-1 just misses going fastball.
Yeah, Dayton Taki, a player I'm familiar with. I had a chance to coach this young man when he was playing high school summer ball and the old Dallas Patriots. And, well, you won't find a bigger competitor than Dayton Taki. This guy loves to play.
Works a 2-1 count. And he's back healthy. Was off to a good start in 2025. Had an ankle injury. Missed the rest of the season for OU. Sure could have used him in what was a super tightly contested regional. Ultimately lost to North Carolina in the Chapel Hill regional title.
Yeah, no doubt. He's a run producer and loves these RBI situations. But as you can see, being very patient. Burns realizing first base is open. Doesn't want to give in to the left-handed hitting Taki. Doesn't like this matchup. Pitching him very careful. I think it's wise.
Outside on 3-1. Our first big moment on opening day. Bases loaded, 2 down in the top of the second, and Kyle Branch, who essentially serves as a second leadoff hitter for Oklahoma, started every game last year, comes to the dish.
Yeah, no doubt. The sophomore, started second base all year as a freshman, played in all 60 games. I mean, he was just a huge catalyst at the top of that OU lineup, and to see him batting ninth today, I mean, not super surprising when a guy that has the athleticism and speed is Branch. And you're trying to figure out your lineup early in the season. Of course, Skip Johnson will be the first to tell you these lineups, will juggle quite a bit as the season progresses. But yeah, Branch does give you that opportunity to kind of have a leadoff guy at the bottom of this lineup.
As much as Oklahoma's bread and butter has been the elite pitching, the defense behind it, they really made their bones in 2025 with speed, taking the extra base, going gap to gap. When you lead the SEC in triples and you steal over 115 bases, I mean, that's not by accident.
Yeah, this is a really athletic lineup for the Sooners. You can see just by looking at it today, with Branch down at the bottom of the order. Jason Walk leading off today, Willits in the middle. I mean, every one of these guys can run.
First pitch slider in there for a strike.
Yeah, big moment here for Jackson Burns.
Punch back up the middle, takes a nice Sunday hop right to the shortstop, Coleman Ryan. And Burns gets out of an early jam. We head to the bottom of the second. Still 0-0 here at Globe Life Field.
He really had to step in and make some difficult changes with his staff last year. Let Matt Gardner go, the former pitching coach. Brought in Steve Foster and Steve Merriman, both with pro experience. They've rebuilt this pitching lab at Texas Tech. He is so excited about that. They're seeing some results early on. Of course, early in the season here, a lot to be spoken for. We'll see how it plays out. But I know what Tim Tadlock will be the first to tell you. Look, last year was not up to Red Raider standards, and he had to address it. And I think he did a great job. He went out and got a couple of really talented guys that understand pitching technology, but also pitching mechanics, and helping these guys bring it and put it all together. So looking forward to seeing what happens here. First losing season in Tim Tadlock's tenure last year, and I think that'll be a mirage here as we go forward.
Has his big bopper back. That was one big step towards a bounce back in 26. Logan Hughes returning. He works a 2-1 count. What a fun matchup this is to start the second. Lefty on lefty. Goes up and in on him. Gets the foul off, and it's 2-2. 327 last year for Hughes, OPS of over 1,100. And that is the thing for Texas Tech. As much as pitching has been the struggle, will be the big storyline, you do have two of your returning starters who had 1,100 plus OPS last year. And a 3-2 count coming. That fastball didn't miss by much.
No, it did, just downstairs. And you can even see where Cam Johnson's misses in the strike zone. He's usually just off the plate or down. Doing a great job of commanding all of his pitches so far.
That one runs a little inside, and it's a leadoff walk for Logan Hughes. So a man aboard, Lincoln Garcia stepping in, making his collegiate debut. This is my favorite part personally, Pat, of this opening weekend. We get it, the Shriners College Showdown. You get so many guys, whether it's the D1 transfers, JUCO transfers, or the true freshmen. First ABs either at the college level or with their new clubs.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's what has to happen in college baseball today. You know, the transfer portal, most of the coaches that really are serious about development will tell you transfer guys are filling in the gaps you have in the lineup. But the development with the younger players has to be a part of the culture of the club. And that's where Tim Tadlock, J. Bob Thomas's assistant, Eric Gutierrez, are so good in terms of developing, especially these young hitters. And great chance for Lincoln Garcia to show it off. He's got a ton of upside and really talented freshman with a great feel for the game.
1-1. Chop to the left side past the diving Johnson. First two aboard for Texas Tech, and a massive fist pump from Garcia. Gets a knock in his first collegiate AB.
Somebody grab that baseball. That goes on the mantle. First of many for that young man. Both starting pitchers really kind of skated through that first inning, and great stuff, and just motored through it. Both of them now struggling here in the second. Jackson Burns able to work out of his predicament, but now Cam Johnson facing one maybe a little tougher. First and second, no outs. We'll see if Tadlock puts some runners in motion here.
This one off the glove of LeChance, and after a delay for a second, Hughes does take off, and he makes it to third.
That should go down as a pass ball. Looked like it kind of thumbed at LeChance. You see him try to turn that glove over at the last moment. Just kind of clanked off the bottom part of his catcher's mitt. Great heads up base running by Logan Hughes. Had that slight stutter step, but saw it moving away and took the extra bag.
Caden Ferraro to the right side, coming in fast and making the catches. Stevens not deep enough for Hughes to tag. That fastball, you can really tell with the lefty Johnson out there. He's been trying to run that inside on lefties, and he was able to jam Ferraro.
Yeah, just not on time, but hit it off his knuckles. Good read out there in right field by Nolan Stevens to come charging in hard. Makes the running catch, and as you said, not deep enough for Hughes to tag up. Still first and third with an out here. A lot of options for Tadlock, and of course an athletic lineup on the Red Raiders side as well. See if he chooses to put Garcia in motion at some point.
Big wave and a miss on a changeup. Matt Quintanar coming in from Blinn College, JUCO level in the state of Texas, where there are so many great JUCOs. You see vast majority, it seems like, of the JUCO transfers come from. Over 400 he hit last year, 15 bombs. Works the count to 1-1. You can tell Johnson reached back for a little extra, up to 96 on that fastball.
Yeah, a ton of pop out of Quintanar as well. Had 15 home runs, 22 doubles last season at Blinn, and He can hit it a long way when he connects.
Ooh, get out the way. It's another fastball running in, 2-1. This has always been the question for Johnson as he tries to take the next step towards a true Friday night ace in the SEC. Will the command stay there even when the times are good and it's an easy 1-2-3 inning, or when you're into a jam like he is now? Little nubber out in front. Will they go home? They will, but the catcher's not there. Throw is in time at first after Quintanar slipped out of the box, and Texas Tech very unconventionally scratches across the first run of the season.
How about that? The number from Quintanar, and yeah, you can see the catcher LaChance jump out in front of the plate like he was going to go field it. But, great job by Cam Johnson jumping off and calling him off, but yeah, flipped it to the catcher LaChance. Heads up play by the Sooner catcher to flip it over to first base to get the out. Had to drop his mask quickly and then flip it over to Taki just in time to get Quintanar, but that will result in the first run of the game for Texas Tech.
Fastball inside to Robin Villeneuve. When have you remembered last seeing a 1-2-3
exactly
put out?
And an RBI to boot.
And not a double play either. In all honesty, Oklahoma pretty fortunate there that Quintanar slipped out of the box. I mean, that easily could have been a disaster. They at least get an out, and with Garcia at second, 2 outs, Villeneuve works the count to 2-0.
And really a manufactured run for Tech. They get Hughes to second base on the walk. Of course, the base hit by Garcia, but heads up base running to get himself to third base on that pass ball. They come across on a ball that went about 30 feet on the infield.
Inning still not over yet. This is the big benefit that Texas Tech has, bringing back a lot of solid returners from 2025. Robin Villeneuve, team's leading hitter, is sitting here in the 8th hole. And he takes a 3-0 strike.
Yeah, great to have a guy like Villeneuve back in the lineup for Texas Tech. Of course, brings that fifth-year senior presence. He's been a cornerstone here for the Red Raiders last couple of seasons, and great leadership as well.
Late on that fastball, smacking it foul, and it's 3-2.
Johnson up to 96 on that fastball.
The 3-2, way outside. He went off speed and lost it. Inning continues with the second walk of the second for Texas Tech with a run already in.
Yeah, it looked like that arm just got caught behind him on that changeup, and elbow came flying out, kind of flat with his wrist on that delivery, and nowhere close to the strike zone. But there's some nice changeups back in the first inning. Pitch just kind of left him here in the second.
The new catcher, Deaton LaChance, bringing everybody together on the infield. First tough half inning for Cameron Johnson, getting into a bit of a bind here. Only made 10 appearances last season, 7 starts for Oklahoma after transferring in from LSU, where he was mostly a bullpen guy. Finds a called strike on the first pitch to Coleman Ryan.
And sophomore Ryan, really a versatile guy, can play infield, outfield. Gives Tim Tadlock a lot of options with the lineup. Starting at shortstop today.
Down to the count, though, 0-2 against Cameron Johnson. Texas Tech getting the run across on a ground out 1-2-3 that scored the runner. Inside on 0-2. So Logan Hughes, he can go down in the books. First run scored, Shriners Children's College Showdown. It's great to hear the sights and the sounds back on opening day Expecting big crowds to continue to file in. Poke, that is just foul down the first base line. A good job by Ryan just to stay alive.
Yeah, good changeup that time from Johnson. And when he stays behind that pitch and on top of it, you can see the good downward movement away from the right-handed hitter. That pitch starting out in the middle third of the plate, ending up off the outside corner, and Ryan just punching it off the end of his bat.
Stays alive. Tried to slow him down just to speed him up with a fastball. This is a pitcher, though, in Cameron Johnson. The upside has always been so tantalizing. 20th round draft pick by St. Louis back in 2023. He was ranked the second best left-handed pitcher in that high school class. Decided to go to LSU. Tapper foul. Again, Ryan just catches a piece.
Yeah, the arm, the body, the velo, it's always been there. And I think you're seeing a pitcher that's starting to mature to kind of figure out how to pitch, using that changeup really well against right-handers. Got a really sharp downward breaking slider. He can throw to both sides of the plate. Just really commanding the strike zone. That's going to be the next part of the delivery.
And he gets the swing and a miss. Back to the fastball. And the strikeout ends the side. But Texas Tech has our first run of the Shriners Children's College Showdown. It wasn't necessarily all that hard hit, but Logan Hughes comes racing home from third, and the Red Raiders lead it 1-0. Nothing on top of Oklahoma. See the Red Raider fans in the stands right now. We're so pleased to be joined by 14th year head coach of the Red Raiders in Tim Tadlock. Tim, great as always to visit with you, and got to imagine a lot of emotions going through Jackson Burns. First time back out there in almost a full calendar year. What's it been like just watching his rehab and his determination to get back out on the mound?
Yeah, he's a high character kid. Shows up every day, does his work. He keeps getting better.
Yeah, Tim, Pat Combs here. Great to have you back here at
Hey,
Globe
Pat.
Life. Yeah, and you had to make some changes in the offseason. You went out and found Steve Foster, Steve Merriman as part of a duo pitching, coaching, and then how excited are you with
That's a
those
good
guys?
play.
Yeah, that was a good play.
Safe, though.
We probably need to look at that one, huh?
You think? You had a good look down there. What do you think?
I think he was safe, but I think he was safe.
Oh,
Maybe
Jason
they'll
Walk
show us
can
on
run.
the side.
Yeah, just taking a look at it on the board. That's the beauty of Globe Life. You can look up on the screen there. Well, that was close.
I think he was safe.
All right, no challenge. No challenge. Well, Coach Tad, we talked
Kick
about.
and run.
Yeah, he can. Some wheels. But talking about your pitching situation, bringing in Steve Foster, Steve Merriman. Let's talk about the importance of those two guys to your program.
Yeah, I tell you, they got a lot of experience on what we got going on here. Probably more than anything, I mean, they're great pitching guys. Everybody knows that. They're better human beings, and they want to keep learning. I mean, they're at an age where they could just shut it down and say, hey, I know everything about baseball, but these guys are lifelong learners. They're passionate about it.
I think about where our pitching is at now, coming in, and Burns off to a really solid start. And just in general, thinking about where we're at 2026, kind of building up all the different resources for pitchers to have. This one's in there for a called strike. What kind of went into that decision to try to sort of up the ante as far as all those resources you got for the guys who come on campus from the pitching side?
Probably the biggest thing is I think anybody that gets past the high school level and they start pitching, I mean, everybody knows there's velocity programs, there's things that take care of your arm that you can manage day to day. Should be out.
A throw just offline. We saw the speed of Walk a second ago there, Coach.
Yeah, so your day-to-day, I mean, there's things you can do with arm testing and with the science behind it that can, knock on wood, keep guys healthy and, and them continue to really just keep improving as they go. And if you don't have it in-house, basically, whether it's Edgertronic cameras, whether it's force plates, all that stuff that you have in a pitching lab, the guys are going to go find it. And the good thing at our place is you don't have to go find it.
Throw to third, and they got him this time, Coach. Looks like they do.
Yeah. I think they'll take a look at that. Hopefully not.
Seemed clean to us up here, wouldn't
Yeah,
you, Pat?
good.
Looks like a good tag.
Man, he can run.
Well, that guy is fast.
He's dynamic for sure. And so to me, like all these young men, I mean, they're going to tread, they're going to the velocity programs. They want to know that their arms are going to be taken care of, and they're going to keep developing, and we have all that in-house, and so they don't have to go anywhere.
That's great. Can't wait to see how it all plays out here this season, Coach. Really appreciate you taking the time.
You bet, guys. Appreciate what you're doing up there. Thank you.
Absolutely, and a great throw down to third by Matt Quintanar. That was a missile.
That was a gun.
And it had to be.
Well, that was a good jump at second base. We saw the flash of speed by Walk beating out the infield base hit, taking second on the fly ball, and Quintanar had to be quick on the delivery and on target, and that was a gun of a throw to third base.
After a ground ball to the left side that most players do not beat out, and a fly ball to the left that most players don't even think about tagging on.
And a great tag there by the freshman Garcia. Anytime you're coming in from third base, he had some depth too. He was playing back behind the bag, and he had to come a long way to get himself positioned. Did that really well. Got that left foot in the ground, and you got to make that tag and come across your body, make the catch, and then come across and make the tag. He did a great job of putting it on him.
LaChance works a 2-out walk. He's aboard in his Oklahoma debut. JUCO transfer coming in from McLennan College in Texas, and sets up Jackson Willits. You and I got to see Pat as a freshman, and you think about at the time all the question marks for Willits. He was coming in, filling the Oklahoma leading hitter back in 2023, Dakota Harris, but fill in that hole he did, and now here he is as a guy, probably a borderline second-round pick. Could certainly have his draft stock improve with a good 2026 campaign.
Oh, man, such a talented player, and you're exactly right. He's going to be a high draft pick, there's no doubt. And great legacy with his dad, of course, Reggie Willits, former OU player, now in his 5th season as assistant coach with Skip Johnson's staff, and, of course, a former major leaguer and Reggie, and a great major league coach that came back to the college ranks, really to be around both of his sons. And this is just one of those another great legacy stories, but great team leader, captain, really high baseball IQ, and just a really great defender, and brings a ton of pop with the stick as well.
Down at an 0-2 hole. Ropes one foul. Interesting dynamic change, though, for Willits as far as where he is in the order. Last year, he was ahead of Easton Carmichael in the lineup, so he got a lot of pitches in the zone. When
That's
you have
right.
a catcher as good as Carmichael right behind you. Well, now the question is, Willits is kind of that guy, so what sort of pitches will he see this year? And he fouls one off.
Yeah, no doubt. Easton Carmichael was definitely a table setter for Willits, but you got a really talented guy like Deaton LaChance in that 3-hole. And again, we've talked about this lineup can change quite a bit. I mean, there's just athleticism up and down, and guys that can run and have pop.
Not a bad guy to just circle out. And now put ahead of you, as you mentioned, Pat, on the lineup card, one up in LaChance, who is a big bopper from the JUCO ranks.
Well, Burns able to escape last inning's bases loaded situation, and did a nice job of working out of that jam. And that'll be one of those confidence builders for a guy that, as we've talked about, hasn't been on the mound for so long. And in a couple of those situations like that, you walk off the field and say, hey, I know how to do this. I can get out of jams too.
And he thought he had strike 3 there. Just missed a hair inside. Texas Tech with a run on an infield ground out back in the 2nd with the 1-0 lead. Jackson Willits lays off, and it's 2-2 for an Oklahoma club that won 38 games last year. There was a lot of question marks going to a new league that the first-time travel trips to a lot of spots in the SEC, but to go 14-16 in college baseball's best conference, nothing at all to scoff at. And a lot of guys back. 5 returners in the lineup, including Willits, who works the count here to 3-2.
Yeah, good hold there by Willits. Pretty nasty slider. Started inside corner. Hit down towards his back foot, and he started to offer at it. Was able to hold up. There's a 3-2 count now, so you'll see LaChance taking off early at first base.
Not holding him either. He's about halfway down to second, but it's a wave and a miss anyway. Burns gets Willits to chase on a curveball inside. 3 shutout from Jackson Burns. Texas Tech nurses a 1-run lead. Jumbotron out in center all weekend. I actually checked last night, Pat. We already had 7,000 raised before we even stepped in the building, which is pretty cool. Bunt to start the third. A left throw can't be dug out. Bang, bang play anyway, and the speedster Kyler Thompson reaches.
Yeah, Thompson flashing that speed at the top of the order, and second time around the lineup for Cam Johnson, and executes the drag perfectly. Just kills it right in front of the plate there on the grass, and it was been a tough play for LaChance. Taki with the low throw, not able to dig it out. I think pretty good chance that Thompson's safe there, even with a catch.
They dual rule it, an infield single for Kyler Thompson. Slow roller back up the middle. Did they get the tag? Yes, they do, with Thompson deemed to be out of the baseline anyway. But that slow roller, your best chance was just to get one, and fortunately Oklahoma does get the lead runner.
Yeah, great job by Willits. Positions himself well. You can see the footwork once this ball is hit soft in the infield, comes up and positions himself. You can see Thompson well outside the baseline. You only get about 3 feet according to the baseball rule book, and yeah, easy call there at second base for umpire Chris Koski. It may be a
Tim Tadlock wants an explanation.
yeah, I don't think he's happy with the call from Koski, and he's letting him have it. Koski puts the hand up and says that's enough, and Tad will make his way back to the dugout. But yeah, I thought it was pretty clear. It looked like to me Thompson was well out of the baseline.
If only that had happened when we had him on headset. That would have been great.
And there was no tag applied, but the call by Chris Koski, the second base umpire, was that he was out of the baseline. And he immediately signaled that with his hands, making that motion towards the outfield. There's the missed tag, and you can't see the call there by Koski, but that was exactly what the call he made.
Johnson steps off. You can hear all the barking down there from the Texas Tech dugout. At the very least, they got themselves fired up after that last sequence.
Yeah, I think there was a pitch clock violation called. Check the count here from home plate umpire John Brammer, but that was what the call was previous to that pitch being thrown.
It's interesting. I thought the same thing you did. Usually you see them make an obvious signal of that, but right now Brammer just signaled 0-2. Normally those pitch clock violations just go down as a ball as that one misses outside. We have come very used to seeing something wacky and out of the ordinary. Remember, right. Last year we had the debut here of the double first base, and it only took a couple of games for us to have some controversy there. Wave and a miss on this changeup, and Schaus is down on strikes.
Yeah, it's early season baseball, right? You're going to see some things that you typically don't see as the season progresses, but yeah, certainly for both of these head coaches, as we had conversations, and you love, first of all, the kind of the friendly rivalry that Skip Johnson and Tim Tadlock have, both growing up in the Denton area, and both very complimentary towards each other. They have a great friendship, but you get a game like this, it's the opening day, the jitters, the adrenaline rush. I mean, every player that gets into the game is going to have some sort of feeling you don't typically have as the season progresses. So you're right, Ben. You never know what's going to happen especially these first 3 games of the season. And man, what a lineup of games we have.
Sure thing. Logan Hughes taking a called strike. Fouls one straight back. And that base running controversy that happened last year was the TCU Arkansas game. We'll get a rematch of that coming up tomorrow. In the meantime, TCU Vanderbilt, pair of top 25 teams to square off next. Check swing on a slider running down and away from Hughes.
Now, pitch count started to creep up a little bit on Cam Johnson. Came into the inning at 43 pitches, 25 of those for strikes. Now he's over the 50 pitch mark. Both head coaches telling us that their starters will probably not go more than 70 pitches today.
What a wave and a miss. Sets back-to-back Ks for Cam Johnson, who has 5 of them through 3 innings. His Sooners come to the plate down 1-0. That dark horse threat all the way down at 9th.
Yeah, I don't often see the Red Raiders, middle or later in the pack in the Big 12, but, it's like you talk to every one of these head coaches, they'll tell you, look, preseason polls are what they are. It's based upon kind of recent history, and I wouldn't expect you'll see the Red Raiders at 9th in the Big 12 this season.
Fastball missing inside to Nolan Stevens as Jackson Burns begins his 4th inning of work. I remember last year we came here, Kansas State was kind of in that same spot that Texas Tech was. A little bit down and out. It had a couple down years. Pete Hughes came in and he's like, look, let the polls be what they are. We don't care. We'll just use it as a chip on our shoulder. And they came down here. They pounded Arkansas in a game and ended up using that weekend as a catalyst to making a regional and getting back into national relevancy. Same sort of goal that Texas Tech has this year.
Yeah, no doubt. It has always been like we see every season with the Shriners Classic. You'll have a team that can go 3-0, may not make the postseason. You'll have a team that goes 0-3 that gets themselves into a regional. So you just never know what comes out of this tournament. So early in the season, it's so unpredictable. But both coaches and every coach here is looking for that barometer. How does this team respond, especially with this high level of competition all throughout the weekend? And it gives them an idea of which players can rise up in these moments early on and which players may need some more help in terms of development and production.
2-2 here to Nolan Stevens. We had 5 teams make it to Omaha amidst the 3 weekend participants last year, as this one's outside 3-2. So odds are good. Always good.
Yeah, always good. And the guys at Rev Entertainment, they have to predict this like 4 or 5 years out because this tournament is actually set up and so far in advance. And every season they seem to get some of the best teams in college baseball coming in. So tip of the hat to the guys at Rev Entertainment, man. They just have done an incredible job of getting some of the better college teams every season.
They certainly do. Stevens drawing a leadoff walk. And the first time that Oklahoma got their leadoff man aboard was in the 3rd. And we immediately saw them get the speed going on the base paths with Jason Walk. Here it's Brendan Brock, the DH, who will dig in with Nolan Stevens on first.
And that's the one thing that Burns needs to avoid, especially with this athletic lineup for the Sooners. They will run the lights out on you if you give them these free passes. And his 4th walk of the game, it's the stat you want to avoid.
JUCO transfer coming in. He was actually drafted 14th round by the Milwaukee Brewers. Decided to stick with Oklahoma anyway. Watches a breaking ball miss upstairs, and it's 1-1. All he did was hit 20 homers, drive in 75, and bat .462. Southwest Illinois College last year. That's not bad, .462.
Not at all. That is quite a season. And yeah, with some pop, 20 home runs and 75 ribbies. And great stat line by Brock. And I tell you what he does for Skip Johnson. He gives you a lot of options. He'll catch some games this season for him, and really athletic catcher. But this guy can play the outfield as well. Got some speed. He's versatile. Well, that's the kind of guy you love to have that can catch a game, but also, keep himself in the lineup today at DH. But also, you'll see him in the outfield at some point.
Mark down on your bingo card. 4th inning. First time we get a pitch count issue in game number 1. It took us till the 4th. That's pretty good.
No
we're getting
doubt.
better. Every year we're getting better with the pitch count.
They do run on batteries. You wonder, gosh, guys, it's first game of the season. You ought to have a fresh battery, right?
You would think. Tim Tadlock looking on. as Burns looks to settle in. He's been settled for the first 3+ innings here, despite 4 walks to 2 strikeouts, but he's been able to work out of some trouble that he's got himself into.
Well, he's only given up the 1 hit. That's where he escaped that 2nd inning jam and was able to retire Kyle Branch on the ground ball, but he has been difficult for the Sooners lineup to square up early in this contest.
This one punched to center field. Thompson back, but has a beat on it just in front of the warning track. No chance to tag for Stevens as Brock missed that one, and it's the first out of the 4th.
Yeah, that was probably the hardest hit ball so far we've seen. Brock, they gave that one a ride about 400 feet to center field, and see where that corner that goes into the bullpen from the center field wall goes to 410. It takes a missile to get out of here, especially in that part of the ballpark. Well struck off the bat of Brendan Brock.
Just a couple years ago, I think, when we talked to Tim Corbin, who we'll have in the next game from Vanderbilt, and he said, this place is like the Grand Canyon to me.
It's a graveyard.
It is. And he said that in a good sense. He's like, this is awesome for the composition of his team, which is all about hitting to alleys and speed, which is what you can say in a lot of ways for this Oklahoma team coming here in 26.
Yeah, pitching and defense. That wins a lot of games, especially at the end of the year.
Trey Gamble watching a ball outside, and it's 1-0. Big reason why, 2-0 I should say. Big reason why it is such a hot ticket and why you see this tournament booked out 5-6 years in advance is because of the simulation it brings to an Omaha type setting, not only from the competition, but just the dimensions in general.
And slider just missing. Down and in according to home plate umpire John Brammer.
.3-0 here to Gamble. 49 walks last year to 40 punch-outs.
Yeah, he's got an eagle eye. Very patient hitter. He's just a really well put together hitter in a sense of strong plate discipline, puts the ball in play. You know, he's an on-base machine, as you said. The 49 walks exceeded his strikeouts. Only struck out 40 times last season.
And on cue, he does take a walk. 2 of the first batters in the 4th reach via the free pass. That is 5 walks now for Burns, and Dayton Taki comes up with a couple men aboard.
A little frustration there from Jackson Burns. Thought he had a couple pitches that were really close to the strike zone. Didn't get the calls. He's been around it though when he's missed. 5th walk, but having to work himself out of another jam here in the 4th inning. Our first official mound visit. Previous one didn't count to change the electronics, but you'll see Steve Foster make his first mound visit of his Texas Tech pitching coach career.
He certainly knows what it's like coming into an organization that has the deck stacked against it from a pitching perspective. After all, he was with the Colorado Rockies for 11 years. Pitching coach for them from 2015 to 2021, transitioned into their director of pitching. Probably the toughest single task for anybody if you have pitching associated with your job title and you work with Coors Field as your office. That is naturally a very difficult challenge, but same thing can be said, maybe not to that degree, about Lubbock, where it is a ballpark and a sort of environment where balls tend to fly out of the yard.
Yeah, apparently, Steve, I've known him a long time, but he apparently likes to work as a pitching coach in ballparks where the ball flies. Don't get it.
He just wants to earn it, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. A little added competition for him.
This has to be special for Steve, a Dallas guy back here, former UT Arlington pitcher. And he watches his man Jackson Burns find the zone with a first pitch curveball. Now, you guys were in school around the same time when Steve was the Southland Pitcher of the Year back in '88. Right.
Yeah, pitched against when I was at Baylor, and it's always, connecting with the UTA, those midweek games, you always hated going into those things and playing a team like UTA, because there were times when obviously Foster was a weekend starter, but they'd have him come in, maybe pitch an inning or two just as a part of his bullpen, and you could just see the talent early on, and of course a long career in Major League Baseball, and now back as a pitching coach here in Lubbock.
How about that for a first mound visit. You go strike one, strike two, go back to the cut fastball, strike three, and Taki is down on 3 pitches.
Yeah, I can imagine what Coach Foster said to Burns. You know, hey, you're starting to pick a little bit around the corners. Stay aggressive in the strike zone. Get strike one. You can get strike one, and great things happen. And that time ties up Dayton Taki. That's a big second out for Burns and the Red Raiders.
And Kyle Branch coming up, not your average 9-hole hitter. Guy hit 288 last year. Back up the middle, it's bobbled, and everybody's safe. A hot shot that Coleman Ryan couldn't handle cleanly, and the inning stays alive for the top of the order.
Yeah, that was a bullet hit off the bat of Branch, and it looked like it kind of climbed up the glove of Ryan Coleman at shortstop. But I think if he lets that ball go and Tracer Lopez picks it up, he might get the out of second base. He tried to recover, as did Coleman, and just could not quite corral it. But Lopez had a beat on it, which would have been the third out, get him out of the inning.
And now it's Jason Walk, a man who, as we saw in his last trip at the plate, any ball on the ground is by no means an easy automatic put away. And they do rule that an E6.
Yeah, sharply hit, but a ball that Coleman did a nice job of moving his footwork towards the feetwork towards the shortstop area. Cut it off before going into center field, but ball took a quick hop. Looked like it bounced off the heel of his glove and just couldn't quite get to it.
That E6 keeps the inning alive. Bases loaded for Jason Walk, who led Oklahoma 13 doubles last year, tied for second with 9 homers. And he gets a favorable count here at 2-1. You might look at him and you go, okay, just a prototypical speed guy. He's only 5'10", $166, but he does have a lot of pop in that bat. Big hack fouled off, and it's 2-2. Oh, can Burns do his best Houdini impression again here, Pat? It's been 3 straight innings with some sort of traffic on the base pass.
Yeah, he's been really good, too, when he's gotten in trouble and making pitches down in the zone, continue to work ahead, especially with runners in scoring position. He's given up the 5 walks, but he's been at his best with runners in good spots. Look at that.
Gets the called strike 3. Freezes Walk with a fastball. And Burns gets out of yet another jam as we head to the bottom of the 4th. The redemption story of Jackson Burns. First game in 363 days, and he gets the punch out. First pitch foul ball from Lincoln Garcia on the offering from Cameron Johnson. Count even at 1 apiece. Opening day here at Globe Life Field, kicking off the 2026 college baseball season. A 1-0 lead for Texas Tech as we welcome you back. It's the sort of game you expect, Pat Combs, with a couple teams might not be ranked in the preseason polls, but both with expectations of, in Texas Tech's case, returning back to college baseball regional. And as far as Oklahoma, they're trying to take the next step after being eliminated in regionals last year, and it has been a fun back and forth early.
Yeah, no doubt the Red Raiders playing this season with a chip on their shoulder. That last season was just a tough year all the way around. The players, of course, felt it. The coaching staff, had to battle through it. It's just so subpar for a team that has such high expectations. And so you got to realize that these guys are coming back with a vengeance this year. If you're in that Red Raider uniform. And OU looking to continue the success. I mean, making that jump from the SEC and being able to make a regional last season. We talk about it all the time, Ben. SEC teams, it's a gauntlet every weekend, right? And there's just no off days. And for Oklahoma to make that jump and to play the way they did, and of course, featuring a tremendously athletic lineup, a retooled pitching staff. I think that's the question mark for both of these teams coming into the season, is just the starting rotation. Not that the arms aren't good, they're just untested in many ways. And so to see how these starters settle in this weekend, to see how the relievers come in and fulfill roles, and of course, that's always the big question mark coming into the new season. How do the roles pan out in that bullpen?
It's an early 3-2 count to start the 4th inning. And fouled off by Lincoln Garcia, the freshman who had a mega fist pump after the hardest hit ball any Red Raider had first time through the order on Cameron Johnson. Smoked a single to left. Good look at the youngster from Newport Beach, California, Lincoln Garcia facing Cam Johnson. Fouls another one back. Well, we were here in 2022, Pat, and Oklahoma was coming off their worst season in nearly 2 decades. Similar to right now, where you feel like there is a little bit of pressure on Tim Tadlock to turn it around for Texas Tech. You kind of felt the same way about Skip Johnson. Felt like, all right, that was a rough year. We got to turn it around. As this 3-2 fastball misses outside and a walk drawn by Garcia. So I remember that being the theme coming into 22, and then all Oklahoma did was go out, make it to a College World Series, win the Big 12, almost win the whole dang thing.
Right.
They were national runners-up and
to the finals.
They ended up with a pitching staff of Cade Horton, Jake Bennett, and David Sandlin. Those 3 were not half bad.
No, not at all. And they find themselves, Oklahoma does, in a similar predicament of having lost their 3 starters from last season. And those are some big shoes to fill. Those are guys that are going to have a future possibly in the big leagues. Witherspoon was just incredible last season, especially towards the end of the year. And it's a rebuilding job, but Skip Johnson has proved time and time again he's such an incredible pitching coach. Think about some of the major league guys that he was the personal pitching coach for, and it just blows your mind.
Could be 2 here. 4-6-3. Branch sets up Willits for the twin killing, and Johnson, who has had the pitch count rise up here with a bunch of walks, picks a good time to get the double play.
Yeah, well executed on the infield. There's one area the Sooners don't have to worry about up the middle between catcher, these 2 guys playing middle infield, and the center fielder. That is probably about as strong as a group up the middle as you're going to find in college baseball, and they make it look easy on those double play turns.
Matt Quintanar, who drove in that run back in the 2nd. And I think he's pointing up toward the, what is a blank pitch clock scoreboard right now. Wanted to make sure that's all good to go, which it is. Big wave and a miss. Yeah, 8 draft picks last year, Pat. 7 of them pitchers for Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's a Skip Johnson team.
No doubt. Yeah. Kyson Witherspoon, the anchor of that, 15th overall to Boston. His twin brother Malachi went in the 2nd round. A foul tip, and it's 0-2.
That's just what Skip does. He served as a personal pitching coach for many years for guys like Clayton Kershaw, Homer Bailey, Chris Davis, all Cy Young Award winners. He's just got an amazing track record, and I call him the pitching coach whisperer. He just somehow turns these big arms around, and pretty incredible. Great track record.
Cameron Johnson, a guy who fits that bill, is tantalizing potential. Here a slicer foul off the bat of Quintanar. But it's oftentimes guys like a Johnson who come in and maybe there's just one thing off or missing that they turn to Johnson to try and unlock. And for Johnson, it's all about the command. Cameron Johnson, that is, we're talking about.
Yeah, no doubt. I think Skip referred to Cam Johnson, what made him kind of click, and he said obviously a lot of it's up in your head, but he said the repeatable delivery, especially for a big lefty like he is, that's such an important piece of pitching. And really simplifying those mechanics. And oftentimes can be the great separator, just repeating the delivery, letting that arm get to the slot that it's supposed to get to. And he says he has made such a big jump in all phases. The maintenance, the mental part of the game, the game management. We've seen that on display today.
He skips one down and in here, 2-2. Yeah, I was fascinated to get your take now that we've seen almost 70 pitches here from Johnson. Just how you think he's handling this first start after a long offseason layoff.
Yeah, I think it looks great. I mean, the thing you think about first start, you just want to get into the zone, right?
Sure.
Let the talent work. Get your pitches funneled in, and he's done a great job of that. Look, it's a 1-0 game. He's only given up 1 hit. The control has been a little bit off at times, but he is flashing some great stuff, and this is a confidence builder for him. You get off to a decent start first game of the season, and you just build from there.
3-2 count to Quintanar. Now the 1 run given up by Johnson unearned. Good AB though put together by Quintanar.
Yeah, making it tough on Johnson, and now it's running that pitch count up. He's getting close to 70 pitches now, and talked to Skip Johnson. He says, I don't like to allow my guys first start of the season to go much more beyond that. Trying to build that arm strength early on.
Catches the inside edge. A throw down anyway, but no need as the 4th comes to an end. Cameron Johnson has a 6th strikeout in his season debut for Oklahoma. We go to the 5th. Texas Tech by 1.
Grounds and the complex and everything, and they're so sweet and they're so kind. Coach has been really welcoming and making sure that I feel comfortable with the boys. They've been great.
And I will let you watch the game. Hang out with us for this half inning as we start. This 5th inning, 1-0 lead for Texas Tech.
So showing them how we do it in Lubbock.
Of course. They needed you this year, Kendall, after trying to bounce back after a tough 2025. I mean, I'm sure that has been a big part of this resurgence, don't you think?
A little bit. I would say last year, yeah, we did a little bit of a rough patch, but I think we're doing a lot better this season. This is actually our season opener. This is our first game of the season, and I've been having such a great time with them. They've been amazing.
Well, Kendall, you've had a chance to hang with the team a little bit, right?
I have, yes. I got to tour the stadium back in October, and I got to walk on field for a little bit, Danlaw Field, and we all took a photo together. They gave me this jersey, and it really made me feel like I'm one of the players.
That's
They're
pretty
so
cool.
great.
Yeah, that's great.
When you are, so many of our team captains are younger kids, teenagers, but you're a student right now as this ball's hit back up the box, and Robin Villeneuve has a base hit to start this top of the 5th. So
There we go.
you're going to have your team play a little defense behind him here with OU at play. But that's okay. They've gotten out of jams already today, as you've been able to watch. So how's school going? What's the process been like there in Lubbock for you?
It's been going great. I'm a second-year theater education student, so I'm at Tech to become a high school theater director. It has been amazing. Right now, I'm working on a couple productions. I just was brought in to be a choreographer for a show, and I just applied to be a director for our student-led showcase, so I'm hoping to hear back from them real soon.
That's great, Kendall. Tell us a little bit about your Shriners story.
So I was a Shriners patient at the Houston Hospital in 2016 after being temporarily paralyzed from the waist down with a lower lumbar spinal cord infection called transverse myelitis. I ironically had a baseball-sized mass on the lower left corner of my spine, and since then I've been left with drop foot. So basically the dorsiflexors in my leg are so atrophied that my foot doesn't point and flex anymore, and the nerve damage further was the catalyst for that. And so my left foot doesn't point and flex anymore. I now wear a leg brace to make sure I quote unquote walk normal/correctly. I've gone through 8 braces in almost 10 years.
Wow.
I'm a very active individual. I've been doing theater, dance, cheerleading ever since my first big physical accomplishment about 18 months after my initial diagnosis. I was the mascot for my middle school cheerleading team. And then in high school, I picked up dance again. I did musical theater, a couple musicals. And then now I dance competitively with Texas Tech Country Swing, and I am the co-founder of Texas Tech Line Dance. I teach line dance classes at our rec center.
That's incredible. You have overcome a lot.
I
in your
sure
life.
have. I've been very blessed to have a beautiful medical team that has been very supportive. I'm also blessed with a wonderful family who has been by my side since day one, and a couple best friends as well.
It's just outstanding stuff. So you get a base hit. We'll see if Jackson Burns can be Mr. Houdini again for your Texas Tech Red Raiders there, Kendall. It's a base hit from Deaton LaChance after Camden Johnson got us started off this inning with a single. So tell me, how does the line dancing, I mean, trying to get, like you formed it yourself, so what goes into that? How many people are in the program? And you seems like you're the head honcho. You're part of all of it.
Yes, so my co-instructor, Anna, shout out Anna, love her, love that girl. We got together and we created a curriculum a semester before we started picking out the quote-unquote easier dances to start out our program with and slowly building in difficulty. We have anywhere between 10 to 40 dancers a class.
Wow.
And our rec center has been super supportive of our new program. Our bosses are really great, making sure we have all the materials we need. We basically go through, we pick a theme for every week and see what dances we want to do in accordance with that theme. So on Monday when I come back, it'll be Men of Pop Week. We'll be looking at Usher, a little bit of Pitbull, things like that.
Love it. You're going all over on that. This is great.
It all started whenever we were just going out together on the, Lubbock local scene, starting out with country swing, and I started learning line dances. And I was like, this would be really cool to teach the people who are standing on the edge of the floor, maybe that don't know dances, and getting more people out there. It's all about building a strong, positive community more than anything.
Incredible, Kendall. And, Ben and I are really, really jealous of you because you get to go out to the Las Vegas Open with the Shriners golf tournament, and we still haven't received an invitation. So
Not yet.
yeah,
we can
you're one
tag
up on us
along.
on that deal.
That was my first big Shriners event. I had a lot of fun with it, met a lot of really cool people. Shriners, whenever you're with them, they treat you like you're a rock star, like you're a celebrity. You are the only person in the world to them. Nobody else matters. And it is absolutely wonderful. I'm so thankful to this hospital and the Shriners themselves. All of my uncles are Shriners, so shout out to the Kiva Shrine. I love y'all so much.
There you go.
Awesome.
So they've been very involved with making sure that I am very well taken care of and that everything is going smoothly.
You see a stolen base there from Camden Johnson as he got a big secondary lead. And now a chopper to the right side. Will they come home? No. Instead, try to turn two, and the Red Raiders pull it off. So Oklahoma ties the game, but that was a great turn, Kendall, as they go 3-6-3 on the putout.
So that's how we do it down in Lubbock.
Well, they give up the lead, and the game is now tied, but great play by the Red Raiders on defense, no doubt. That Jackson Burns getting over to first base to cover, and a great pickup there by Villeneuve at first base. You see him, he didn't even hesitate to go home with it. He was thinking two all the way, and that makes that play because he threw a bullet to Coleman over to Burns covering. And even though the Red Raiders give up the run, they get the big 2 outs in the inning.
That's the beautiful thing about Tech. While sometimes we may give up the lead for just a little bit, we do bring out these amazing plays.
3-6-1 on that putout. That was some stretch, too, by the pitcher Burns over there. As it's 2 outs now for Nolan Stevens. We're visiting with Kendall, team captain, part of this Shriners Children's College Showdown, team captain for Texas Tech. And you're one of the older team captains. You've been through so much. What's it like just talking to some of the younger kids, and whether that is sharing your experience, giving them some peace of mind, all about that, just being sort of a resource, a voice for them? How has that made your position kind of unique and different?
It definitely has been very fun being I guess you can call role model for them, as someone to look up to, that they can persevere, they can push through, and that life doesn't stop. Life doesn't end after you're hospitalized or in rehabilitation for a certain amount of time. I make sure that they know that there is always somebody in their corner, even if we're only together for a weekend and we never see each other again. And I just make sure that they know that positive attitude, positive mindset will be the greatest thing to help you push through, and that it's okay to rely on your family. It's okay to say yes. It's okay to say no. Try something new, and if it doesn't work out, okay, it's fine. It's not your fault if you have a different ability compared to somebody else. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Great stuff, Kendall.
It is great.
You've got a future as either a counselor or life coach. I can hear it already.
I'm in school to be a high school theater director, so something like that. Because, as teachers, we don't have just the title of teacher. We've got the title of mom, dad, counselor, confidant.
Oh, yeah. Babysitter. How we get it? Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, okay.
Your responsibilities know no bounds, Kendall, clearly.
That's right.
You get a hit by pitch here from Nolan Stevens. Brendan Brock digs in. I feel like you would be great too at calling a baseball game. That's just I just have a hunch.
I need to brush up on my terminology a little bit, but then yes, absolutely, I'd love to give it a try.
Looks like this might be the end of the line here for Jackson Burns as he's up to 83 pitches. Tim Tadlock out there to make the call in a 1-1 game here in the 5th inning. Looks like we will have our first pitching change of the day as Burns takes the hat off. It's been a great return. 4 2/3 for Burns, giving up just the single run. And there's a good look down in that bullpen. It's Ryan Free, a veteran, waiting to see if his number is in fact called. So I got the home plate umpire and John Brammer. He's out there to break it up. Wants Tim Tadlock to make the decision, and he will. It's the lefty to come in next. We'll get our first look at the bullpen this season and Ryan Free for Texas Tech. So Kendall, we'll let you go back down, hang out with the team. As soon as you left them, they gave up a run. So they're going to need just your aura, your spark down there.
I say a little bit of a good luck charm down there, I suppose.
I think so. I think we can confidently say that. Kendall, such a pleasure to hear about your story. Thank you so much for talking about everything you're doing in Lubbock. It's been awesome to visit with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Y'all enjoy the rest of the game.
And that's Kendall, our Texas Tech team captain, as part of this Shriners College Showdown. We'll step aside, introduce you to the new pitcher when we come back. All knotted up at 1 apiece as we welcome you back. Top of the 5th inning, Jackson Burns goes 4 2/3 in his 2026 debut. 363 days removed from that opening weekend injury. Gives up the 3 hits, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts. Still responsible for the runner at first base, giving up the 1 run. And makes way for Ryan Free. Welcome back, Ryan, to Lubbock. Spent 2 seasons in the pen for Texas Tech. Ended up getting an extra season of eligibility. Competed for Angelo State last season, going down to the D2 level. But he's back, Pat. 6th year eligible now for a guy who last pitched in 2024 and put up good numbers.
Yeah, put up great numbers last season at Angelo State, as you mentioned, and back in the bullpen for the Red Raiders. One of those high-trust guys. He's a 6th-year senior, and Tim Tadlock says, it's not overpowering stuff, but he's around the plate. Good off-speed pitches to complement the upper 80s fastball. But he is a dependable left-handed arm. They're a bridge guy to that bullpen for the Red Raiders.
He steps in, faces Brendan Brock. And skips off the glove of Quintanar, and Stevens takes second. This inning began with a couple of hard base knocks. Camden Johnson first, Deaton LeChance second. And even though Jackson Willits grounded into a double play, Oklahoma using their speed to get into a runner in scoring position situation. As you get another look at that wild pitch, and that stolen base from Johnston, Pat, was the difference which really defined so much of Oklahoma's success offensively last year when they were able to manufacture runs just like that. Now it's a 2-0 count to Brock. And he ropes one foul.
And that's what happens with an athletic lineup. It just forces, defenses to make plays, forces pitchers into situations they don't like to be in. It's just uncomfortable against this Sooner lineup, and especially when you think about you've got to limit the free passes. We saw a number of walks. If there was anything to say about Jackson Burns other than a great start today, it was the 5 walks he gave up. But again, time and again, he pitched out of trouble until this inning. Gave up a couple of hits to start the inning. Had only given up 1 hit before the inning started. OU able to put back-to-back singles on the board, and which led to the Johnson run.
Bounces one in the dirt. Again, the runner takes off, but they've got him dead to rights. OU a little too aggressive that time, as Quintanar fires it down to Garcia. The second time he's made a put out at third, as Stevens makes the third out there. Well, Oklahoma does tie the game at 1, but Texas Tech able to nab another OU runner trying to take third base as we head to the bottom of the 5th in a 1-1 game. All knotted up at 1 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Oklahoma able to scratch a run across on a double play ground out from Jackson Willits. That's how Skip Johnson's team looked a season ago, first year in the SEC. They got off to an awesome start, Pat, 11-0 out of the gates. They swept the Round Rock tournament where they beat a couple of top 7 teams in Oregon State and Virginia. That set the stage for what was all things considered a positive first year in the SEC, right around 500. Nearly took out North Carolina in a tight regional. And they're back with big expectations in 2026 with Cameron Johnson getting a 1-0 fastball past Robin Villeneuve.
Yeah, just to continue the momentum that OU had from last season. Of course, we talked about making the regional last year, and had a big donation come in for some projects around their stadium, which Skip Johnson said was badly needed. L. Dale Mitchell Park, been there since 1980. Not much has been done to it. And they're going to go through a $45 million renovation. And it'll be known as Kimry Family Stadium when all things are said and done. But well, what a great momentum builder that Skip Johnson has to work with the Sooners.
2-2 count here to Villeneuve. 100%. You add in all of the high-profile transfers that Skip Johnson brought in. 64 Analytics had him a top 10 transfer class this year, and one of those transfers from 2 years ago at least, Cameron Johnson, has been dealing today. 7 punch-outs now as he gets Villeneuve.
Yeah, good pitch coming in and catches the top of the strike zone, and we talked about the fastball in the mid-90s. He has not lost a tick of velocity at all. He is now approaching 90 pitch, or making 80 pitches on the day, up to 78. 48 of those pitches have been for strikes.
Great to see the return in 2026 of our flow tracker. We'll have that all these 3 weekends. So grateful to everybody with the Texas Rangers making that technology available for us. What makes this such a special way to kickstart the college baseball season. Fastball just outside on Coleman Ryan. It's still 94 though for Cameron Johnson, who can touch 97, 98.
And you see the body, the build. It's just a guy can be that workhorse type pitcher, and that's exactly what Skip Johnson said. He can be our Friday night starter. He has the ability to go deep into games. And the big question mark coming in was just the control and game management, not having been in a situation like this where he's looked to be the go-to guy in a rotation. And boy, has he handled the big moment today well. Opening day starts are pretty special to come by, and Like Skip Johnson said, Cam Johnson definitely earned it in the fall, early spring. He's got a lot of power arms, but he said there's just something special about the way Johnson approaches the game.
And has Ryan down on the count 1-2. Johnson, a guy who's pitched on the Cape each of the last 2 summers. Another punch foul. That's funny. You look at the preseason poll for the SEC this year, Pat. You go, okay, a team who's 14th out of 16 in any conference. Usually that means, oh, what are the expectations? Just try to be 500, something like that. Well, in the SEC, where basically everybody feels coming in, really with the exception of my alma mater, unfortunately, Missouri.
Right.
Everybody besides them feels like they've at least got a shot at a regional.
Yeah.
I mean, Oklahoma fits that bill of a team. You look, you go, wow, how can they be 14th? It's really just a matter of how deep the league is once again, and it only got deeper adding the ex-Big 12 teams last year.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that goes to the fact that, you talked about the 7 pitchers being drafted, rebuilding a starting rotation again. Third time Skip Johnson's had to do this in about the last 5 years, but you mentioned the names last year. It happened in 2022. Cade Horton, Jake Bennett, David Sandlin. How about 2020, that class, when he had Cade Cavalli and Levi Prater, Dane Acker. Dane Acker threw a no-hitter in this tournament back in 2020. First, unbelievable arms that come out of this OU program. And with Skip Johnson's never having to rebuild a staff. It's just kind of reload with the talent that you get. And it is a talent pipeline, especially on that pitcher's mound. But this lineup is tremendously athletic.
He offered. It is yet another strikeout for Cameron Johnson, his 8th, as he gets Ryan to chase. And they'll let him stay in there to try to finish out a 5th inning. There's that pole we were talking about. And one of these days, my Missouri Tigers pattern climb out of the basement.
Oh, man.
It's a tough job for Carrick Jackson there at Como. But and when you're talking about the deepest, toughest conference in the country by far, you get defending national champs as the favorites. Arkansas, who will be featured later tonight, 4th on that preseason poll.
Yeah, and look, it's just like any other, program that you've got to put money into. And Ben, I feel for you with Missouri because it's.
I know.
I know that and Steve Beazer, my good buddy, I played with the Phillies. He was the head coach there for a long time, and it's a money situation, right? You see the investment that Oklahoma's making, right? $50 million going into the stadium over the next couple of years. And that's what you have to do in the SEC. If you want to be competitive, you got to have, a great stadium. You've got to have the stuff behind the scenes that the players all love in terms of development. And they're just not seeing it right now.
Golf's back up the middle. There is Kyler Thompson keeping the inning alive. You have to bet he will be on the move at some point with Tracer Lopez coming up.
A nice job of hitting here from Thompson. You see him pull those hands in. That ball coming down and in towards his front side, and able to get those hands quickly through the zone to rifle that pitch back up the middle.
Cameron Johnson, 88 pitches. Skip will trust his lefty to get the final out of the 5th inning.
And I think either way, probably the last hitter that Johnson will face. I think Skip likes the matchup here with Lopez, but double-barreled action down in that Oklahoma bullpen. And 90th pitch upcoming here for Cam Johnson.
And for a guy who throughout his career has been pretty much even walks to strikeouts, this has been a major step in the right direction today. Fouled off 1-1, 3 walks, but 8 punch-outs.
You saw the reaction by Tracer Lopez that time after he fouled that pitch off. He was upset. Got a pitch up in the zone to hit. Just couldn't quite catch up to it.
It would tie a career high if he's able to get Lopez to end his day.
And Kyler Thompson definitely a threat to run at first base. Johnson not especially quick to the plate.
And there he goes, right on cue. Good throw, even on a good pitch. Oh, and Thompson slid off the bag. A guy who was 29 for 29 last year. He had the base stolen, but he slides off second. And Deaton LaChance gets his first caught stealing as a Sooner. We head to break. Whole lot of pitching and defense on display today as we're tied at 1. Hardworking Cameron Johnson gets through 5 innings on the bump for OU. 1 strikeout shy of tying a career high. Had 8 of them today. Only run he gave up was unearned, and Oklahoma right in this game as they've come back to tie at 1-1. Just to look at all the Ks today, Pat, it was an impressive season debut.
Yeah, no doubt. And we knew everything as advertised was going to be the fastball in the mid-90s. The off-speed pitches, the changeup was nasty today. Got a couple of strikeouts there, and then the ability to spot up and throw pitches inside really tied up the Red Raider hitters for most of the day. Only gave up to 3 hits, strikes out the 8, walks 3. Outstanding season debut for Cam Johnson.
1-1 game as we go to the 6th, and Ryan Freese back out there. Got the final out, first pitcher in relief for either team, and pumps in a strike to Brendan Brock, who was at the plate when Nolan Stevens got caught attempting to steal third. Big wave and a miss. So off Free is the first reliever and has been a reliever in his first stint across 2 seasons. This is a guy who was a weekend starter, stretched out at the D2 level last year. Definitely can go multiple innings for Texas Tech. Gets him tied up on that curveball, has Brock frozen, and Ryan Free in his welcome back game to Lubbock gets the punch out.
Yeah, that's his out pitch for Ryan Free. It's that backdoor breaking ball to right-handed hitters, and he spots that pitch up so well. Does it here, locks up Brendan Brock. I think Brock just gave up on it. But yeah, you can see him shaking his head like, yep, that was a strike. Well executed breaking ball from Free.
It's a great look from the flow tracker, how out of the hand that thing is, high and outside, and it is so hard to stay in there as a right-handed hitter, not just give up on it. Now Trey Gamble in, 1-0 count. Good look there at Ryan Free, whose parents were both athletes at Texas Tech. 2-0 count. Here's Dad Kelly, actually played baseball on the Red Raiders club, and his mom Tracy was an outstanding golfer at Texas Tech, a program that kind of goes under the radar, producing some great golfers over the years. Ludwig Oberg, the latest, and his mom had a stint on the LGPA tour.
Nice. Good legacy there.
3-0 count here. It's actually my favorite fun fact on Tim Tadlock that he was a high school golf state runner-up at Denton High School. Timmy can swing the big
club,
the big stick, yeah.
No doubt.
Great golfer. Why is it, Pat, as a professional baseball player, you can answer this, why is every professional baseball player just automatically like a 3 handicap or less in golf?
Except for me.
Except are you the lone exception?
I'm the lone exception, yeah. I'm sitting at like a 16, 17 on a good day.
Wow.
But no, I think for a lot of position players, it's just that natural swing playing, right? Guys that can swing a baseball bat, they can keep that front side from bailing out in the golf club. You're pretty good. They can hit a long way, but I play with a lot of pitchers that can hit the ball as well too. John Smoltz comes to mind. Man, that guy was a tremendous golfer.
You always have a way, Pat, of making me feel better about myself. So thank you for doing that. 3-2 here to Gamble. And is down low, and a one-out walk to Gamble.
I love Ryan Free's story. You know, here's a guy that spent a couple of seasons pitching out of the bullpen for Texas Tech, and he wanted to get more innings. He wanted to go kind of prove himself up, see if he could come back to the starter. So what did he do? He goes down to Division II, Angelo State, pitches down there last season, puts together a tremendous season, and with the intention, I believe, always is coming back to be a part of this Red Raider team. And not many guys would have the humility to do that, you know, to say, hey, I just need to go get some innings in.
There's a high fly ball to right. Schaus looking up. It's gone. Dayton Taki goes yard as Oklahoma storms back to take the lead.
Now, what a luxury for Skip Johnson to have Dayton Taki hitting in his 8-hole today. We talked about the power that he brings, and he puts it on display. That ball was a no-doubter. He crushes that, barrels it up. Goes to a deep part of the ballpark there in the bullpen area. Hit that ball about 390 into the stands, just above the Texas Tech bullpen, and that gives OU their first lead of the day.
I'll do you one better. Our official numbers in the stadium, 412.
Wow.
On 107 exit velo. And it is 3-1 Oklahoma. Kyle Branch takes a strike in the 9-hole for OU. And what was a game really defined the first hour and a half by the pitching and defense. You figured at some point the bats would come to life, and they do.
Well, great story there for Dayton Taki as well. Missed 40-plus games last season, had a bum ankle. And he was a big missing piece, Ben, as you alluded to, out of that lineup as OU entered the postseason. And to get him back healthy, and to see where this guy is in the order, I'm like going, what in the world? Dayton Taki batting 8th today, but man, what a bomb.
One and two now to Branch. Oklahoma, they've had to scratch and claw their way back, gave up an unearned run in the second, but scored via some small ball in the 5th, and now they go yard, an area that wasn't really a mainstay of the club last year. Did not hit a ton of homers. They were more of a gap-to-gap team. Branch takes down low on 1 and 2. It's one of those things, though, that a team like Vanderbilt found out the hard way last year. You don't hit for power in the college game. At a certain point, that's probably going to catch up to you, and it did for the Commodores last year. There's a high pop-up in on the infield. And it's similar situation for OU, looking for a little more pop in their lineup this year. They certainly get it with that blast from Dayton Taki. Much deserved celebration over there at the dugout. Man, it's got to feel good too. You come back off an injury, as you mentioned, Pat, and to get back in there, first game, had a walk and a strikeout his first 2 times up, but then to go yard. And your team now leads it by 2. Jason Walk takes one upstairs. He's certainly had an interesting day. A single, beat out what would have been a routine 6-3 ground out, then tagged up on an average sort of fly ball to left field, but was then caught stealing at third. Tons of speed. And he's ahead in the count 2-1.
Yeah, so many ways for this Sooner offense to hurt pitcher and defense, but I think the biggest thing is the athleticism. We talk about the ability of this top of this lineup to run so well. It just puts a lot of pressure on opposing defenses.
That is handled really well by Garcia over at third. Had to go quickly, and he makes a solid throw. Villeneuve with the dig. But Oklahoma takes the lead for the first time today. Dayton Taki, 412 feet. That's a 2-run bomb, and OU leads it 3-1, heading to the bottom of the 6th. Oklahoma going to the bottom of the 6th. Oklahoma has 2 of their 3 runs, courtesy of that man, Dayton Taki. You coached him once upon a time, Pat.
Yeah.
Look at him show out for you. All that Pat Combs coaching.
I wish I could say I had something to do with the hitting. Yeah, but he was also a pretty good pitcher back in the day, too. But, no, definitely we knew his future was at first base in the lineup, big bopper, and a lot of power, and he's shown that throughout his career. And, you know, one of the things he's really improved on is his plate discipline over the last couple of seasons, and went out to Weatherford College and had a great junior college career, and that has transitioned well to this D1 level. And this guy's got a chance to play at the next level.
Meanwhile, look who's back out there with a foul off from Tracer Lopez. Cameron Johnson, who has already reached a career high. He had never thrown more than 84 pitches in a game. He is at 91 as we start the 6th.
Yeah, a little surprised. I mean, you know, you kind of think first game start, probably somewhere between 70, 85 pitches is probably where you need to be as your opening day start. But again, we talk about Cameron Johnson, the build, right? Oftentimes what you'll see a guy with that type of build is that he can go deeper. And that's exactly what Skip Johnson believes in terms of him being a potential Friday night starter. Is, you know, looking forward to SEC play, but I think he liked the matchup there against Lopez, and he gets the strikeout.
And he certainly did on 3 pitches. Picks up a career high 9th strikeout with that sweeper.
That is really impressive.
Especially against the Texas Tech lineup that we've watched be intentional about forcing deep counts, not chasing pitches out of the zone. This one fouled back by Connor Schaus. You're talking about a pitcher in Cam Johnson as well, who this one just misses to Schaus 1-1. If you combine his 1 year at LSU, last year at OU, and then his 2 years at the Cape, pretty high level at baseball, college and would bat, 65 walks to 52 strikeouts. And yet today he's come out, had 3 walks relatively early, but has settled down incredibly impressively. And when this guy can pitch from in front, Pat, he is such a dangerous weapon.
Yeah, it's just great stuff, right? Left-handed stuff. We talked about the fastball that has a lot of movement. The changeup that darts down and away from right-handers. The little slider he throws up there. That, I mean, it's really good quality stuff. That you get ahead of a guy, or when he gets ahead of a hitter, it just compounds the problem. I mean, he can blow you away with the fastball, and he can pull the string with the changeup.
Called strike 3. Make it 10 for Cam Johnson.
It just looks like he's getting stronger. I mean, 4 strikeouts, make it 5 over the previous 6 Texas Tech Red Raider hitters. And he has just got nothing but more dominant as this game has gone on. That pitch registered a little bit below the pitch box there, but got the benefit of the call, and that's exactly what happens when you're around the zone as much as Cam Johnson's been all day. You'll get the benefit.
Logan Hughes attempting to hack early out in front of a slider. He's now struck out 7 of the 9 Red Raiders in the lineup at least once. It just goes back to the story you were mentioning, Pat, earlier in the game. Skip Johnson telling us about a situation in their Fall World Series where Johnson had been sitting in the low 90s. They had a misplay in the outfield, had a guy on third with nobody out. Here's series, he's up 0-2. Oh, thought he had that one as it's a hair outside. And out of nowhere just started throwing 98, 99 cheese and did not give up the run. That's the sort of arsenal and the sort of tank that he has.
Yeah, you talk about pitchers, you talk about their stuff, you talk about their mental makeup, but that's the competition piece that you can't produce, right? The player has to bring that. And so when you see a guy that like Cam Johnson, who just gets into a pickle and he says, okay, this is not going to happen on my watch, and he cranks that fastball up, that just tells you that's the heart piece, right? That's something special to watch, and we're watching the confidence just continue to build in this starting pitcher today for OU.
Slider down and away, 2-2. Well, just like we've gotten really used to watching Oklahoma have to completely rebuild their starting rotations, we've also gotten really used to, over these last 5 years we've worked together, Pat, talking to Skip Johnson and him saying, all right, this guy is going to be a breakout star. This guy's a breakout. Cam Johnson was that guy this year, and he has been on one today. Strikes out the side. 11 punch-outs for Cam Johnson. A career-high 105 pitches, and it's Oklahoma who lead it 3-1 going to the 7th. 3-1 Oklahoma as we head to the 7th. One of the great pitching minds in college baseball, Skip Johnson, now in his 9th year as head coach, likely to reach the 300 career win milestone this year, and he is watching yet another product he's taken in, developed up. In the starting pitcher for today's game, Cam Johnson absolutely deal a career-high 11 strikeouts, and hard to believe it is already your number 9.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. We were talking to Skip early on when he was at Texas, a great pitching coach there as well for Augie Garrido, and I always love talking to Skip Johnson. He's such a humble guy to begin with, and then sees the success he's had throughout his career and coaching, major leaguers, coaching college guys into the major leagues. I mean, just a incredibly successful coach, and just a dear guy to be around.
His team getting some offense. Runs the last 2 innings, scratched across one on a double play from Jackson Willits that scored Camden Johnson from third. It's Johnson who led off that 5th. He leads off the 7th inning. A bullet right at the right side of the infield. That was caught on the fly by Tracer Lopez for a loud first out. I know you got the 2-run bomb. Dayton Taki to take the lead in the top half of the 6th.
Yeah, Johnson's swung the bat well today for the Sooners, that time lining out right at Tracer Lopez. And you're exactly right. Second base umpire Chris Koski singled out. That ball was line drive and caught in the air, and Tim Tadlock will take the ball from Ryan Free.
So an inning and 2/3 for Free. The only blemish was the big mistake, the 2-run homer he gave up to Taki, as it brings in one of the starters from last year, who's now coming in a bullpen role, Parker Hutera. Set the stage for Parker when we return, a 3-1 lead for OU. 3-1 Oklahoma with a new pitcher coming in for Texas Tech. 1 out, nobody on in the top of the 7th. And a man who we saw a couple of years ago, Pat, closed the door, got a save here at Globe Life and win over Nebraska. Parker Hutera is back, and yet another Texas Tech pitcher who makes a return after an injury-shortened 2025.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for him last season, missed most of last year, but has really emerged this fall, had a tremendous fall, good early spring, and could still possibly see him as part of that weekend rotation, but coming in relief today, features that mid-90s fastball. He's got the juice back in that pitch, and really viewed as a safe bet going forward to give Tim Tadlock some options as either a bridge guy to the bullpen that can take a game from the 4th, 5th inning on and close it, or as a potential starter. But yeah, good to see him back on the mound healthy again. This guy's got some electric stuff.
And part of why it was such an unfortunate injury last year was the momentum he brought into that campaign. He was on the Big 12 all-freshman team in 2024. So he gets a foul straight back from Deaton LaChance. Yet for a pitching staff that is so bereft of names you recognize, guys who have been in the program, he just jumps off the page at you, at a guy who can certainly help lead the way.
Yeah, it's a fastball slider change mix. Now he can pitch off that slider. It's a good pitch. There's a lot of confidence being able to throw that pitch in any count just as well as his fastball.
1-1 is hammered foul by LaChance. Curveball in at 79. Let's get a good look at Deaton LaChance. We have one player from Canada on both rosters. LaChance putting up those gaudy numbers at McLennan Junior College in Texas last year, and was playing for his current head coach, Skip Johnson, his son last year, Tyler, who was the head coach at McLennan, who was since left, now an assistant at DBU. That's always an easy scout, right? If you're dad, you
right.
can say, hey, my son's coaching at one of the great JUCO powerhouses. What do you got down there?
Yeah, that's
gave
right.
him LaChance.
There was no doubt. Tyler was in Skip's ear saying, you better get this guy. Get on him early. Yeah,
Just outside on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, Skip calls LaChance kind of a throwback type catcher, and as he loves the way he approaches the game, and made some comparisons to an old timer. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, Skip. You mean to tell me he's like Carlton Fisk? He goes, yeah, wait till you see him. He kind of approaches the game just like the old Red Sox all-star Carlton Fisk.
3-2 count here. You know, and he made that comment, and I just remember thinking, when is the last time in the 21st century a coach has made a comp to Carlton Fisk?
Right.
I mean, obviously great player. Here he can't hold up. Breaking ball gets LaChance to offer. And a second out of the inning on the first batter Hutera faces.
Yeah, nasty slider there from Parker Hutera. He started him off with this pitch, and this one is even better. Just had that downward bite to it. And LaChance couldn't quite hold back. Nice spot there with the slider.
A solid way for Hutera to enter as Jackson Willits digs in. If you're an opposing pitcher, always nice to have this guy coming up. 2 out, nobody on.
And the Red Raiders have pitched him well today.
High fly ball into center, got well under it, and after stepping back, Kyler Thompson comes in and makes the catch. Sorely needed 1-2-3 inning for Texas Tech after they gave up runs each of the previous 2 frames. Stretch time here at Globe Life. It's Oklahoma on top by 2. Cameron Johnson's day is done. He was brilliant today for Oklahoma. Sooners with a 3-1 lead as we hit stretch time. Career high 11 strikeouts across 6 innings, and he leaves way for one of the more talented freshmen in the country coming into this Oklahoma program. It's Xander Mercurius, who was the Perfect Game's #1 overall ranked right-handed pitcher in the state of Nevada, joins his older brother LJ on the roster.
Yeah, not very tall, only 5'10" is Mercurius, but what an arm he brings. It is incredible stuff. He'll see a fastball that sits in the mid-90s. He's touched 97 in the fall. And it's a low 80s slider, low 80s changeup, and those pitches have high whiff rates. And this guy is just well put together. Really a young player, young pitcher who understands how to pitch and use all three pitches effectively. And he is been a part of USA Baseball's collegiate national team, and just a high upside ceiling for this young right-handed pitcher for Oklahoma.
You go from 6'6", 256 lefty with Johnson. Now it's 5'10", 186. Diminutive righty, but he packs a big punch. His first pitch just misses a hair outside. Some freshman on freshman ball going on right now with Lincoln Garcia digging in. Cracks the mid of LeChance for a called strike. Nevada's State Player of the Year a season ago, Xander Mercurius, and it's a great get to in the transfer portal where his older brother LJ, who's a top 75 draft prospect this summer, with his slider upstairs. LJ joins younger brother Xander, transferring over from UNLV, and they get to stay together in the same city.
Yeah, that's always a neat thing. I had a couple of sons did the same thing when they played college ball, got to play together, and it's just from a parent standpoint, makes it a lot easier.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You got to get to the same ballpark you can go see, and what a neat deal to play with your brother. And yeah, Mercurius is one of those guys. I think Skip Johnson's eyeing him for potential weekend rotation role, but great idea. You know, young guy coming in, get his feet wet, you know, get him into a game where even now a 3-run lead or a 2-run lead, 3-1 ball game, but let him get acclimated to that college level slowly, and then you know you got plenty of weekends here before you get to SEC conference to play to see if he's going to be one of your guys.
It's a great point. 3-2 here. Misses. Fastball drags a little low and outside, and that's a leadoff walk for Lincoln Garcia, who is having himself an outstanding collegiate debut. A single and 2 walks.
And just a mature approach there by Garcia, knowing you're a couple of runs down, and a great approach at the plate. Waiting for a pitch to hit, didn't get it. He'll take the free base.
And a theme all fall when you talked with head coach Tim Tadlock for Texas Tech. A lot of guys who want to put deep professional at-bats together, and Caden Ferraro is one of those guys who fits the bill, fouls it straight back.
You look at Ferraro's numbers, and it's nothing eye-popping, but man, he gives quality at bats. He's such a battler at the plate. That time gets the single.
Serving one into left. And Texas Tech, for the first time since the 3rd inning, has some life on the base pass.
Yeah, just a nice swing there by Ferraro, and goes down and gets that fastball tailing down and away. And good job of getting the barrel to the ball on time and just kind of taking what was given to him by Mercurius. Tough pitch to hit. He laces it to the left.
All right, so welcome to college baseball, Xander. Now you immediately trying to protect the 2-run lead. Have yourself in a jam here with Matt Quintanar. Texas Tech did have single base runners in the 4th and 5th, but had them immediately wiped off.
Yeah, Skip Johnson trying to see if Tim Tadlock would tip his hand, and his old buddy says, nope, we're not going to give it to you that easy. Quintanar may be bunting here, but did not show it on that throw to second base.
Now he shows the snap throw to second is a good one, and that was really close over there.
Yeah, great pickup by Jackson Willits, the Sooner shortstop. That ball was a little bit low, heading towards the dirt. He picked it, tried to apply a quick tag. That throw off the knees from LeChance. Well, that was a lot closer than it looked. And now Skip Johnson wants to take a look at it. So they will challenge this play at second base. Garcia getting back in time. It looked like Willits may have put the tag on his foot. No, maybe not. Maybe it was closer to the upper body. I think he missed.
Regardless, that throw is such where, I mean, you're talking a couple inches away from it going all the way into the outfield, and then you'd have a real mess on your hands if you're OU. It was a great play by Willits, even if it doesn't result in an out. But they will take a look at it. John Bramer, home plate umpire, goes down there. Chris Koski, who made the call at second, will take a look. And we get our first review of 2026 in the bottom of the seventh.
You know, great throw by the catcher, LaChance, off one knee there. And I think that replay is going to be really close, but play was ruled safe by umpire Chris Koski at second base. He was in good position to see it. The ball definitely beats Garcia back to the bag. The question is, did the tag take place? We've seen a couple of different angles here, and it's really difficult to tell. And Willits immediately thought out, signaled over to the dugout, and Skip Johnson said, I trust my shortstop. The question, I think, on this particular replay is there enough evidence to overturn it?
I don't see how they overturned that. Looked like, unless you felt like there was immediate contact upon Willits receiving the ball, but
yeah, it looked like the glove kind of swipes the top of Garcia's shoulder, but it was before the ball arrived. And there was just that split-second lapse of time there. Yeah, I don't think so. It's going to be really difficult to overturn that one.
I don't think you've ever gotten one of these wrong, Pat, 5 years together. So I'm gonna say they stay with the call on the field.
I think so, and I think it's one of those calls. It's just so close, but yeah, you can see where the ball hits the glove, and the glove is just slightly off the top of Garcia's shoulder there. So he is indeed ruled safe. So that call will stand.
It's an interesting spot just with the way the lineup is composed for the Red Raiders. You have Villeneuve, your leading hitter last year, batting 8th. So it completely makes sense if you're Quintanar to give the sacrifice bunt down, put 2 in scoring position, and look to tie the game with a base hit to the outfield.
Yeah, no doubt. Especially if you're the home team. You know, you play for the tie at home. If you're the visiting team, you might let Quintanar swing away here, but that's the right call. I'd be curious now, falling behind 2-0, Tadlock may take that bunt off.
Or at least make him throw a strike.
And now Skip Johnson out of the dugout. It's a place a young pitcher, you know, you either rise up in the moment or you start to maybe second guess a bit. No doubt the stuff is there. It's, I think, Skip trying to let him settle in. Really not much room to settle in now. 2-0 count with runners at first and second, no outs.
The other piece for Oklahoma, as much as the big talking point is you have to replace the whole weekend rotation, they also had a pretty darn good closer in Dylan Crooks.
That's right.
You've got some bullpen pieces now that are all being sorted out and shifted, and you see the bullpen down there, double-barreled action. Jackson Cleveland, the senior, getting ready. Miami transfer, one of the guys down there. You would not think the leash would be long for the freshman Xander Mercurius. Can he get out of it here?
Now Quintanar with a ton of power at the plate.
That's a good pitch, though. Nothing Quintanar could do anything with.
He's definitely looking for a pitch out over the plate, something he can barrel and drive into a gap here.
Josh misses inside. Back up the middle, could be 2. And it is! What a pitch on 3-1 by Mercurius to get the twin killing.
Well, I tell you, that's just a great job by Skip Johnson to come out, make a mound visit, settle his pitcher down, and really challenge him to throw strikes and go after these Red Raider hitters. And what does he do that? He comes back, gets into the count with Quintanar. He was down 2-0. throws a strike, down 3-1. Then makes a nasty pitch there on the outside corner. Quintanar could do nothing with, but it's that tailor-made double play to Branch over to Willits and on to Taki.
Second time the Red Raiders have grounded into a 4-6-3 double play. Now Villeneuve takes a called strike. Slider catches the outside edge. Gets you to breathe a little bit down there if you're Mercurius.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, you want your debut to go well.
Jam shot, tough play, and that's through. Red Raiders get something out of it as they pull to within a run on Robin Villeneuve's RBI base hit.
Well, just a good swing by Villeneuve, and this is exactly what Texas Tech needed. The big 2-out hit to kind of keep a rally going and get the first 2 runners on. You get the little double play ball, and Villeneuve comes in and delivers. Great job by the veteran guy, the bottom of this lineup, to come through with 2 outs.
Something we've not seen at all today, Pat, until that AB. Oklahoma and Texas Tech had combined 0 for 10 with runners on scoring position until that AB. Job well done by Villeneuve.
Yeah, one of the better hitters in the Big 12 last season, and just like his counterpart Dayton Taki hit the 2-run homer to put OU ahead, Villeneuve returns the favor, picks up the big 2-out RBI. Red Raiders still down by 1, but that was a big hit.
And we get a pinch hitter now in the 9-hole. Hollis Porter gets out of the way of a fastball coming down and in on him. It's yet another JUCO. We've had JUCO transfers for Texas Tech like Quintanar, but Porter's a big-time transfer coming over from the Big Ten in Maryland, where he had a massive 2025 at 304, 21 homers last year. Part of the reason why the Red Raiders have so much confidence about this lineup. They brought in some good pieces. They brought back their top returners.
And Porter gives Tim Tadlock a lot of options at first base. One of those big power hitters, and there's the big physical presence at the plate.
Tying run at first. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Wave and a miss. Fastball just really explodes out of the hand of Mercurius, hides it well. Quite the moment to make your collegiate debut. Big spot on a big stage. Swing and a foul tip controlled by LaChance. Mercurius does give up a run in his debut, but it's the Sooners who avoid giving up the beginning, and they lead it by 1 as we head to the 8th on the punch out of Hollis Porter.
Season, and Texas Tech trying to turn things around from a uncharacteristic finish, and really the entire season just a real struggle for the Red Raiders. First losing season in Tim Tadlock's tenure as head coach there, and got to expect this team's going to bounce back and play with that chip on their shoulder this season.
Parker Hutera back out there after he cleaned up the end of the 7th. Faces Nolan Stevens, 1-0 count. It's wrapped foul. So you say this is an expected close matchup. You go through the history. These teams played in the Big 12. Oklahoma, 41 wins. Texas Tech, 40. And there was a tie thrown in there.
Of course, right?
Always have seemed to play in some great games. They've actually split their all-time series at Globe Life, playing back-to-back years at the Big 12 tournament. There's another wave and a miss by Stevens, 1-2. OU got a win en route to their Big 12 tournament title, an eventual national runners-up season in 2022, but Tech got them back in 23. 2-2 here to Stevens. Quintanar into his crouch. Been a well-pitched, well-defended game. Called strike 3, and yet another punch-out. Utera has his second. That is 6 now for this Red Raiders staff to try and counter what Oklahoma's done on the other side with 12 of them.
Yeah, great pitch by Utera, and it's going to be interesting to see as he's come out really throwing the ball well here out of the bullpen. And could he potentially be a late inning type arm for Tim Tadlock and Steve Foster? Is he a guy that they projected? Can he build himself back up into a starting role? Great stuff.
Brendan Brock, hard drive into right. Schaus on his horse. This is way over his head, and it's off the wall. Brock bangs it 104 miles an hour off the bat, and has an extra base hit as Oklahoma is in search of an insurance run.
Yeah, just a great piece of hitting by Brendan Brock. Watch him go down and get this pitch. It was a slider down and away, and just goes down and barrels it up. And yeah, shoots that ball over the head of Connor Schaus out right field. Well played by Kyler Thompson coming over to back him up. That looked like it could have been a triple, but Thompson played it well off the carom. Right center field area. And it gets kind of hairy down there where that fence comes into a corner. That National Car Rental sign that Brock banged it off of, but
a rocket to right. This one is way out of here. Trey Gamble wastes no time, and Oklahoma extends the lead. And that got out of here in a hurry.
oh, I did, yeah. Yeah, that was some exit velo there. 106 mile an hour off his bat. 380 feet on the distance. And again, a couple of no-doubters this game by the Sooners. First by Taki, now Gamble. Batting right in front of him, and that ball was a no-doubter. 5 rows up, but did get out quick, Ben, like you said. That was a rocket.
And the celebrations to that Oklahoma dugout. Trey Gamble showing he's not just a guy who can draw a walk, even though that's what he was known for last year. Great eye at the plate, able to take advantage on a pitch down the middle.
Yeah, just a mistake pitch there by Utera. Just fastball down the middle, out over the plate. Gamble was sitting all over it.
Here's Taki, who had the big bop. Watches a curve find the outside edge, 1-2. Foul back as Taki stays alive. Here's what he did last time. 412 feet to right center. Chases here, though, on this pitch in the dirt. They will tag him out for the second out of the inning.
And the great equalizer, the slider down into shoe tops, and Tara able to record the second out. Good job of coming back after giving up that big bomb to Gamble and striking out Taki.
Kyle Branch, number 9-hole hitter for Oklahoma. This has to feel great, though, if hitting coach Reggie Willits, your team was 13th out of the 16 SEC teams last year, under 7 runs a game, which does put a lot of stress, even when you have a great pitching staff. And to come out today, show the power, not having to rely on small ball, couple of mega homers. Sort of why they brought in Reggie Willits a few years ago, and he's done a great job in his 5th year.
Yeah, no doubt the offensive coordinator for Oklahoma. I don't see many offensive coordinator tags in baseball, but he's one that coordinates the entire offense. So Skip says that's the title we're going to give him.
Sure.
But yeah, hitting coach extraordinaire, and of course was a first base coach for the New York Yankees just 5 years ago, and former Major League Baseball outfielder, and of course the dad of a couple of Willits guys that come through this program, and it's got to be so impressive to coach your sons in college.
This one hit hard off the bat of Branch, but right at Hughes, out in left. So much needed insurance. It comes the way of a frozen rope homer for Trey Gamble and the Sooners. They lead at 5-2 going to the bottom half of the 8th. It's a 5-2 Oklahoma lead with 6 outs to get, and a Oklahoma debut for Jackson Cleveland, third pitcher to take the mound of the 9 transfers brought in this year from the D1 level. Pat, Cleveland, the guy who has the most experience, couple seasons at Lamar, one at Miami, tons of pedigree with 103 career innings pitched on the mound, and he'll make his Sooner debut right now.
Yeah, just one of those consistent arms out of the bullpen that Skip Johnson has to choose from, and again, one of those guys, veteran presence in the mound and good stuff. He'll feature a fastball, upper 80s. He'll touch 90, curveball and slider, as well as a changeup. But yeah, Jackson Cleveland, just a really solid arm, proven consistency out of the pen. Has over 103 innings pitched in his college career.
It's the foul ball from Kyler Thompson. Red Raiders did get a run back in the 7th to draw to within 1, only to give up a 2-run homer for the second time in 3 innings. Fastball high and outside. So some work to do for the Red Raiders, underdogs in today's game. Just tied for 9th in the, or solo 9th, I should say, in the Big 12 preseason poll, trying to prove that last year was a fluke. This one slicing, it is fair. That just stayed inside the line, and watch Thompson fly. Well, that took another carom out there. They will hold him at third on a stand-up triple for Kyler Thompson, and the Red Raiders are right back in business.
Yeah, ball well struck there by Thompson, slices it towards that right field line, and an ill-advised dive there by Nolan Stevens. The Sooner right fielder, he really had no chance on that ball as it's slicing away from him, and he should have made a better angle towards the corner just to try to hold Thompson to a double. He turns that into a triple with that dive, and now the Red Raiders are 90 feet away from tying. Well, from getting back in it, down 5-2.
Tracer Lopez fouling it back. That's where you just felt how massive that two-run homer was in the top half of the 8th for OU. Just releasing a little bit of the burden, the pressure on these OU relievers.
And you got a 3-run lead, and of course outfield coaches will tell you just keep everything in front. Try not to give up the extra bases. I think off the bat Stevens thought he had a shot at it, but you got to make that adjustment once you see that ball curling towards the line.
Good off-speed pitch, 76 in there from Cleveland for a strike. A good opportunity for Tracer Lopez after an 0-for-3 start to get a first ribby of 2026. Cracks one to center, walk back with room, and makes the catch just shy of the track, but that does get the job done. And Texas Tech not going away quietly. They've got it back to within 2.
Yeah, Lopez barrels that ball dead center. Walk with plenty of time to get to it, but let's pick up the sac fly RBI. Tracer Lopez just happy he wasn't having to face Cameron Johnson again.
As I think everybody in this Red Raider
right.
lineup is. Johnson, the 11 strikeouts from the 6'6" lefty. And nobody's easy on this Oklahoma staff, but at least a guy who looks a little more standard to most college pitchers, 6'2", 206 officially for Cleveland. A little more palatable. Another slicer. This will get into the seats, though, from Connor Schaus. Schaus certainly seems like a kind of swing guy that could elevate this Texas Tech lineup to greater heights, since he didn't play a ton for Georgia Tech last year, transferring in. It's a high chopper right to Camden Johnson on a hop, makes the throw, and in time for a second out. But that really will be the key for Texas Tech outside of the pitching that we've talked about ad nauseum. It's, can you get a guy like a Schaus to come in and take a leap? Can you get some of the other hitters who have been brought in to go to the next level?
Yeah, no doubt. I think what Tim Tadlock has assembled this year in terms of lineup and kind of managing his roster is he's got much more depth, much more versatility. A guy like Schaus, you can put him in multiple different positions, keep him in the lineup. I think that's exactly what Tad was looking for in this roster construction.
It's all anchored by Logan Hughes. Takes a slider outside. And even a guy like Hughes they view to be versatile. You could play a corner outfield spot or first. Big hack and a miss as it's 1-1.
Yeah, the NCAA lowering the roster limits for college baseball. A lot of teams are carrying 34, 35 players this season, and for 4 or 5 fewer they've had in the past.
That one stung right at walk out in center field. Oklahoma gives up a run, but the Sooners still lead it by 2 as we head to the ninth. For Texas Tech.
Well, Tim Tadlock is excited about a lot of his arms this season, but this one especially. Adam Hayes comes out of Colorado, and a freshman who has elite upside. And a fastball slider changeup mix, 94, 95 on the fastball, and Tad says he's one of those guys that obviously major league draft potential, sees him as having a shot at the next level, but next level for him now is, can he go from bullpen to starting rotation at some point. That's what they have their eyes on for Parker Hayes, or Adam Hayes.
It looks like before Adam Hayes can throw his first pitch in the D1 level, he will get a new pitch comp.
Here it is.
I do wonder sometimes maybe if in the inner squad or fall scrimmages, if they maybe do like the freshman prank, they just give them a fake pitch comp,
Right.
and it's just somebody making like animal noises in there or something. I don't know, but not in the real game, of course.
That's right.
Adam Hayes has been around the prep circuit, all those showcase sort of events. He was the #1 overall pitcher out of the state of Colorado coming in out of the high school class as he misses inside to Jason Walk. Two 2-0 here to the top of the order for Oklahoma. And Adam Hayes also is one of those players, it's starting to become more of a thing, Pat, where you see guys going to this MLB draft league, which is starting to gain more steam now over the last couple years. 3-0 count right now to Walk. It started in 2021, but it's this sort of 2 split seasons approach where you get some guys who are draft eligible, true amateur ball. They get to play the showcases against the scouts, and you also have guys who will come after the draft who are already either in the professional ranks post-college, and they're trying to get more run in front of scouts as well. So it's just interesting. It's become yet another avenue for a lot of these young guys to get some experience in front of decision makers.
Yeah, I think the goal for Major League Baseball, you think about now they're trying to save money, cutting down on the minor leagues and minor league teams. And we saw, just a few seasons ago when they eliminated a couple of leagues and cut down on the teams that each Major League organization can have. And so more and more you're seeing college baseball looked upon as the minor leagues for, which makes a lot of sense. And you think about the savings, cost savings that Major League Baseball experiences with that. And the competition at the Division I level is elite. You got the Power 4 conferences, of course, but it's across the spectrum in college baseball. It's just the talent has gotten so much better. The training is better. The resources going into college baseball are there, and so it just makes a lot of sense.
Sure thing. Been a big shift in our game over the last really 2-3 seasons especially, but it's like, why go on a rookie ball minimum contract as a late draft pick when you could get more than that in NIL money and get a college experience out of it, play really high-level baseball in big league parks. So it was a big get for sure having Adam Hayes come in, but he's a little shaky out of the gates here. 4-pitch walk, immediately draws out the pitching coach in the first year for Steve Foster to settle him down, and now faces Camden Johnson.
Yeah, you talk about the typical jitters that most players have. Like, I don't care how long you've been playing this game. It's opening day. You've got that little adrenaline push going, and on top of that, you're making your college debut. Just kind of intensifies a bit. A good call by Steve Foster. Just try to settle his young arm, Adam Hayes, down.
2-1 here to Johnson. The 2 Cam Johnsons have been pretty awesome for Oklahoma, and I'm sure that is not the last time that sentence
right.
will be said this year.
You got Cameron, Camden, and, oh, by the way, Skip, their head coach, right?
And Camden, the Wichita State transfer. Now 2-2, that catches the top of the zone. We've already seen on display today why Camden Johnson is here. A guy who can really run. Throw over to first with a dive back by Walk. Plays good defense out in the field, and also can hit for pop. Was a guy who hit .325 last year for Wichita State.
Yeah, no doubt. Big time pickup in the transfer portal for Skip Johnson was Camden Johnson.
Back up the middle. Oh, that hit off the cleats of the pitcher Hayes. They can't get the flying Johnson down the line as that went way up in the air. Despite a great effort from Tracer Lopez, and everybody safe on the infield single.
That ball was hit pretty well. I think it would have been up the middle for a base hit anyway, but off the bottom of the foot of the pitcher Adam Hayes, and It's kicked right up to his second baseman, Lopez. Lopez tried to make a quick throw to first base. Now Tim Tadlock out of the dugout. Umpiring crew coming together to have a discussion, but it looked like Camden Johnson made it in plenty of time. That was a kick save and a beauty. And I don't think Tad is coming out to challenge the play. It's not quite sure what the conversation is about, but all four umpires have gathered on the infield.
The only thing I could think of, would it be a sort of base running thing with walk going from first to second, but that's obviously with a ball up in the air like that, that's really not the defender's right to just have all that space there. Well, they want Tim to come back.
Yeah,
you don't see that often from umpires. Hey, come back out onto the field, but they want a clarification here.
Yeah, and I think what they're going to ask is, do you want to challenge this play? If there is some talk about maybe the adjustment that Lopez had to make with walk coming from first to second, I didn't see anything that caught my eye.
Neither did I. It seems like the only logical thing you could possibly challenge here, and they will.
So yeah, Tech is challenging. I think that was the conversation, was John Bremer saying, hey, Tim, we didn't see anything, so if you want to challenge it, you certainly can. Their umpires can come together and basically challenge their own call. But I think it was pretty conclusive that Camden Johnson beat the throw from Lopez coming from second base.
So Oklahoma already lost the challenge earlier. Now Tim Tadlock and Texas Tech will go with one here. The call stays the same, which we assume it would. I mean, that is obvious, safe over at first. I think it's going to be the looks we'll try to look at are the any sort of interference running from first to second from walk's perspective, getting in the way of Tracer Lopez's opportunity to field the ball. But I didn't think that was really an issue.
No. Yeah, this will be a quick call, I believe. And
all right, so that was nice and quick. You're 2 for 2, Pat, as
that
you
was
always
not a hard
are.
one. Yeah.
We know maybe that's it. We had to give you a couple easy ones, get that.
There you go.
Get the numbers up. And it also might have just been in a situation for Tim Tadlock. I don't know if he believed he really would win that challenge, but it just buys his bullpen a little extra time, as they felt pretty quickly with the 5 balls out of the chute that Hayes maybe didn't have his best stuff. So they get the bullpen some extra time. Hayes leaves after facing 2 batters, and we'll have a 5th pitcher of the day for Texas Tech coming back on the other side. They try to keep this one within 2 runs. We'll get you set up on the new pitcher when we return here at Globe Life Field in Arlington. 5-3 lead for OU into the 9th. 2 on, nobody out in the top of the 9th as we welcome you back. Globe Life Field in Arlington, opening day 2026 of this Shriners Children's College Showdown. And with Oklahoma on top by 2, Texas Tech goes to the pen, and a debut in Lubbock for the 22-year-old South Korean Heerin Han. What a outstanding moment this has to be, coming in after spending time at the JUCO level, and Han is ready to go. Immediately enters the fray with the fire to put out here after walked to begin the 9th, and then Johnson had the infield single.
Yeah, Han is the 6-foot, 170-pound junior. He is a transfer from Los Medanos Junior College. Spent a couple of years there and now making his Division I debut. He's got the funky sidearm delivery and a sweeping breaking ball. A good sinking fastball that will sit in the mid to upper 80s.
And this matchup was just meant to be, wasn't it? We've got old school versus old school. You got the Carlton fist comp from Skip Johnson and Deaton LaChance, and the old sidewinder throwing off speed as he induces a shallow fly. Schaus comes in to take it, and a job well done by Han.
Yeah, you like to have a guy like this in your bullpen, and Han, it's a much different arm angle than what you typically see. Kind of that Kent Tekulve type of delivery. And it crosses that leg high, and then that big sweeping arm motion. He's a hard guy to square up.
Has to do it against the heart of this Oklahoma order, although Jackson Willits, who is considered the top prospect of the guys in this starting 9, and 0 for 4 today. They've done a good job keeping the balls away from Willits or jamming him inside. Have not had a lot of great pitches to swing at. That one just misses outside. And for the first time, we always talk about on this opening day, Pat, it's a day of firsts. Well, first time that since we're in a big league park, the in-stadium pitch identifier. This slides in there for a strike. Pitch identifier incorrectly says a fastball is a changeup. You know what happens? College game, some of these guys top out in the mid-80s, and we've learned over the years that you can't necessarily always go.
Can't always trust the scoreboard. There you go.
It happens. It's okay. Fouled off. 84 on that fastball.
There it is. There's the mid-80s fastball.
But look, with the deception and the off-speed, the delivery, it's a situation and a repertoire that's worked well for Han at the JUCO level.
Yeah, that sweeper is a pitch that oftentimes special left-handers will give up on.
Punch to the left side. That's down for Willits. They wave around the flame-running walk from third. He's got burners, and Oklahoma has another insurance run as they lead at 6-3.
Yeah, that's just a major league approach right there. That's a fastball that's out and away. Like Han was trying to get it to the outside corner, and Willits just stays with the pitch, drives into left field, picks up the big RBI to extend the Sooner lead. Yeah, you're not going to get that guy flying around third base. Jason Walk, my goodness, can he fly.
And run charge to Adam Hayes, who's still responsible for Johnson out at second. You don't expect to see many 0 for 5s this season from Jackson Willits.
No.
We get a pinch hitter now for OU. Wearing the number 17, Dasan Harris. Just takes outside.
Yeah, Harris, another one of those great athletes in this lineup, and it just gives Skip Johnson so much versatility, gives him options. It's the guy we saw start a lot of games last season for Oklahoma, and Skip Johnson playing some matchup baseball here late in this game.
Still a save situation for Oklahoma, as they have scored now in 4 of the last 5 innings after a very slow start offensively. But it's Harris who works a 3-1 count. Just finds the inside corner. Harris was ready to walk down to first. When you figure you probably don't get away with many straight fastballs if you top out at 84, but yeah, that one had a little movement to it.
Harris had it right.
And fouls it off. Down low. And eventually the superior eyesight does get rewarded here for Desan Harris. He draws the walk, and the bases are loaded full of Sooners for Brendan Brock. Guy who's coming off of his first base hit after transferring in from the JUCO level for Oklahoma. Chance to really blow this one wide open. Takes a first pitch strike. It's on the outside edge. Oklahoma, it's almost like they just needed to see one get into the outfield, a ball hit hard. It felt like somewhat of a domino effect here. Once you saw a couple hard hit balls, it's really reflected into the rest of the lineup now. 2 mammoth home runs in the last 4 innings.
It's amazing how confidence can be caught, right? It's like you see a guy in front of you get a hit. I think the other thing, too, with this veteran-type lineup is guys who communicate well with each other. Say, hey, here's what I'm seeing spin-wise. Here's his approach. Here's where I think his command is best. You know, when you get 1 or 2 times around the lineup, and usually that starts to favor the offense after they've seen a pitcher a couple of at-bats. And they were patient, but you're right. They've started to put together, especially against this bullpen at Texas Tech.
High fly ball into center. This is deep. This is gone. Brock with a grand slam to blow it wide open for Oklahoma.
These Oklahoma hitters putting on a show today. 3rd home run of the game for the Sooners. And how about that from Brendan Brock, going dead center off of He-Run Han. Boy, off the bat, I didn't think it had enough distance, but it got over the wall by a couple of feet. As Kyler Thompson looks up in center field, and Sooners have blown this one open.
In a game that midway through we thought 2-1, 3-2 might be our final scoreline. Oklahoma had enough of that on the offense. Man, if the bat's woken up. 3 homers now since the 6th. That one's inside to Gamble. And the thing that makes this Oklahoma lineup so intriguing for 2026, Pat, those homers coming from spots 6, 7, and 8 in the order.
It's a powerful lineup up and down, and you just go back to the line score here. You know, Oklahoma had 4 hits through 6 1/3 innings. Now they've had 5 over the last couple of innings.
Tough spot for Han right now. His especially when you struggled with command like he has. A couple balls hit really hard against you, and that might do it on a 9th inning that has gotten away from Texas Tech.
Yeah, 7-run lead. And I think Tim Tadlock is going to have a chance to see a lot of his bullpen this weekend. And that's the one thing that every head coach will tell you over the course of 3 days against this really incredible competition with the Shriners Children's College Classic is that they're going to have a chance to see most of their arms, and that's actually bodes well. You start to kind of get a feel for who can rise up in the moment, and guys that need a little bit more development.
So still just one out. We'll get yet another pitcher. It's the two-way guy. Connor Schaus will get an opportunity to take the mound for the first time when we come back. A tough 9th inning for Texas Tech after Heeran Han comes in, gives up the grand slam in his D1 debut. He exits, heads to the dugout, and Jacob Rogers enters. I feel like a broken record saying this, Pat, but he's a Texas Tech Red Raider pitcher coming off season-ending injury in 2025.
Yeah, there were a few of those.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, but he is back. Friendswood High School native and senior. 3-letter winner for the Red Raiders, Jacob Rogers, and kind of one of those depth bullpen pieces. A great part of this organization for a long time, and getting a chance here to try to clean things up in this 10-3 ball game.
And Dayton Taki immediately hacking. He started this offensive surge in the 6th inning. Remember, it was a 1-1 game in the 6th. If you're just joining us, the 10-run scoreline was not always inevitable for Oklahoma, but Taki got the 2-run homer. Then in the 8th, 2-run bomb from Gamble to make it 5-2, and now 5 home in the 9th. Should also point out Texas Tech has a new shortstop in there, Luke Orphy. After the starting shortstop, Coleman Ryan, was pinch hit for in the 7th inning. So 2nd inning out there for Orphy at short. Big wave and a miss. Taki's still not satisfied. He wants more, man.
Yeah, that was a 91-mile-an-hour fastball up in the zone, a pitch he typically likes. Just swung through it.
Rogers in his 38th career appearance at Tech. Did not get Taki to offer. Tried to tie him up. Taki gets under this high pop-up that stays in on the infield. Lopez there to make the catch. There are 2 down in this top of the ninth for Oklahoma, which kick off a weekend of games. I'm sure it has to still feel odd if you're a Sooner fan. You're playing 3 ex-rivals from the Big 12, but they're all non-con now that you're in the SEC. Including tomorrow, Pat, we get Bedlam. Bedlam is back.
It is back.
Oklahoma State, 3 p.m. locally here in Arlington.
I got to believe that might be the earliest Bedlam game they've ever had in their series. I'm going to make that call, yeah.
Gotta be.
But what a way. I mean, you think about how this tournament was planned years ago, and now you've got OU in the SEC, Oklahoma State now obviously remaining in the Big 12, and now they get to play the rivalry game early.
Pitch just misses to Caden Brumbaugh. There's the Polk fans. They're already doing some scouting. Never too early for
That's
that.
Right.
They've got the nightcap tonight, Oklahoma State.
They're probably shaking their heads like us, thinking, wow, these Sooner guys can play some baseball.
So it's Brumbaugh in there, a transfer from Nebraska, who's played on this field in the past. We had Brumbaugh in Nebraska a couple years ago. And takes a called strike, 1-2.
Had a chance to watch Kyle's brother Colby Branch play at Baylor his freshman season before transferring over to Georgia. What a talented family out of Lovejoy, Texas. A couple of middle infielders for a couple of SEC teams.
But on this occasion, Brumbaugh set down looking as Rogers gets the backwards K. Last chance for Texas Tech when we come back to Globe Life. You see that running count, and that is a little bit delayed. We usually see them updated every 3 hours or so. We were at 30,000 heading into game 1. I expect that to be up to 6 figures in no time. Such a great event. So happy to be back here. 6th year of Globe Life College Baseball, 3rd that we've had it under the Shriners Children's umbrella. And Oklahoma and Texas Tech have gotten us off to a fun start. A lot of late offense here for OU to pull away. Jackson Cleveland will look to close this one out, back for a 2nd inning of work against Lincoln Garcia. It's also great to have Leanza Peroni. She's our post-game interview reporter, back with us for another season. Hard to try and figure out who would be the player of the game for Oklahoma. A lot of late changes here, Pat.
Yeah, no doubt. And a couple of big, actually 3 big home runs. The Taki home run that put them ahead back in the 6th. And Trey Gamble hit a bomb. Got out of here quickly back in the 8th and extended the lead. And of course, the nail in the coffin bomb was Brendan Brock's grand slam this past inning.
That one bounces in there on 2-2. Texas Tech will turn right around. They get the early game again tomorrow, taking on Vanderbilt and Arkansas on Sunday. It's one of those weekends, if you're Tech, you knew you'd have to do it the hard way, especially coming into a tournament like this where you're an underdog all 3 games. But we have seen teams who had been struggling come here before, and maybe the wins and losses weren't there, but they at least got some confidence and positive things to take away. Shot on one, hop handled perfectly by Willits. Sucks that one in and gets the first out of the 9th.
You just love to watch Willits play shortstop. He just got such smooth movements to the ball. There's nothing herky-jerky about it. Just a great defender there in the middle of the infield. Makes it look easy.
Good look at that infield. Couple of changes as well. Caden Brumbaugh, he is still in there at 2nd base after pinch hitting, and Desan Harris is now in left. Alec Blair in right. And a foul from Caden Ferraro. just upstairs, 2-1. This is sort of a schedule, though, by design from Texas Tech. They had the 7th toughest non-con strength of schedule last year. Somewhat rare to see for a Power 4 conference team, as it's 2-2. But in talking with Coach Tadlock, he certainly feels like, okay, we kind of learned our maybe mistakes from the hard schedule last year. We still have a hard schedule, but now we know better how to manage that.
Right. Yeah, and you see, you know, all those bubble teams every year that miss the NCAA regionals because of those RPI ratings. And, you know, you want to have a difficult schedule to boost that RPI index, but then you get towards the end of the season and you either have worn your guys out or it comes down to, you know, the win-loss record. So, yeah, there's got to be some balance there, and it's always difficult, you know, scheduling. And of course, you have to do it 2-3 years out in advance, you know, to get locked in with some of the teams you want to play, and not an easy job for any head coach.
3-2 here to Ferraro. I go back to last year and what Pete Hughes and Kansas State did after they were snubbed, and they basically decided, we don't care how hard the non-con is. We are not letting ourselves get snubbed because of non-conference strength of schedule. And I think they started 1-4 last year and had some rough losses, got pounded in a couple games, but you look at the end of the year and there they were, right there in a regional. 3-2 to Ferraro, swung on and missed. Jackson Cleveland continues to impress in his Oklahoma debut, and the Sooners have one out to get.
Yeah, went upstairs with the fastball that time. Popped 94 on the gun. Blows it right by Caden Ferraro. And that's exactly where LaChance wanted it, up in the zone, and Cleveland delivers.
Quintanar taking a called strike. Well, it hasn't been all negative for Texas Tech. Honestly, scoreline, Pat, looks a lot worse than how tightly this game was played when you consider it was a 5-run ninth. But Quintanar, super impressed by him. Behind the plate, threw a couple OU runners out at third today. And drove in the first run of the game on an infield ground out.
Yeah, he's definitely got kind of that big body, and you like to see him what he's done behind the plate. Brings a ton of power to the plate.
And working with great former catcher in his own right, J. Bob Thomas, played at Abilene Christian, was all conference there in the mid-2000s. He's been on Tim Tadlock's staff every season now in year number 14.
He is the mainstay. 14th season. Great recruiting coordinator.
Oh, did not offer. OU fans thought they had this game won, but Quintanar just hangs in there.
I'm taking a look at it here, and it was awfully close. Boy, that's about as close as you can get without getting there.
The 2-2. High fly ball into right. This should do it. Alec Blair coming in. He makes the catch. And Oklahoma rides pitching and defense early. A whole lot of offense late to an impressive opening day 10-3 win over Texas Tech.
Yeah, really well done here by Oklahoma. Just kind of hanging in there. They that faced a really tough pitcher in Jackson Burns. Did a great job for Tech. But their offense was patient. And boy, they string out those home runs together today late in the game for the big win.
Jackson Cleveland in his first appearance. It's a clean 6 outs. And the Oklahoma offense got their 3 home runs from the 6, 7, and 8 holes. Brendan Brock, the big one, the 9th inning grand slam. Trey Gamble and Dayton Taki also going yard. And it was all set up by Cam Johnson, a career high 11 strikeouts. That's a good look at Oklahoma. Gamble, who had one of those homers, it was a frozen rope laser that